Your morning just got more interesting. Distilled and barrel-picked for your listening pleasure. Bo Bishop, a local sports media legend. What William T. Sherman was to the Union Army, he is to Northern College football. A husband, a father, and middling youth sports coach. He's friends with Central Ohio sporting royalty.
I'm talking to Ohio State Athletic Director Ross Bjorken. Coach Day walking on with us right now. Good to see you, buddy. Good buddy Austin Ward. My good buddy Tim May, the Tim May Show. The great Doug Lavery's joining us.
Hi, everybody. Dom Taberry here.
Oh, Reese came in and he handed me papers.
Yeah,
and then he said, "You see that button? That's the only button you need to worry about. Don't touch. There's 8,000 buttons in front of me." Oh, I didn't know what he was talking about.
The one that says, "Oh."
We blew the budget on this imaging, and only two guys answered our ad on Craigslist. Ryan Baker and Eric Reeser. Act accordingly. You're now listening to Bishop and Friends.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years.
All right, let's do it live on a Thursday edition of the program. Bo, the boys with you for the next 3. 10 o'clock, we will hit your emails. 10:30, Paul Finebomb will drop by. He's going to have a lot to say. A little going on in the Southeastern Conference with the transfer portal. So we'll get into that at 10:30. 11 o'clock, we'll play a little higher or lower. And 11:30, a little bit of Shelley time. Is it better to have loved and lost rather than never loved at all? I guess that's where we are this morning, boys. I was NBC had a lacrosse game last night. Then we hung around and watched the high school game, which followed it, and was monitoring on the phone, and then in transit, trying to keep up as we were going along. And look, it sucks. It sucks. You wanted it to be on your sticks tonight. You wanted it to be with a fully throated nationwide arena, and you wanted to control your own destiny, but you kind of blew that at some point in March, and the hockey gods let you hang around for a week, and then the way that you played demanded that you hung around for a week. No one's going to forget the last week and the play of Jet Greaves and the play of Adam Fantelli and everything that this team showed over the last week. God, everything this team showed over the course of a season, right? But it also sucks. It sucks to not be given that opportunity. It sucks to have to watch as somebody else controls their own destiny in a fully throated building, which it was last night in Montreal, and that part sucks. And the thing that you're robbed of is something that we have only tasted so briefly, and that is a true postseason experience. We've been in the postseason a handful of times. The one that is most special is when you beat Tampa Bay and you get a couple of wins against Boston, and it starts to feel like, hey, maybe we're onto something here. Let's make a go of this thing. And that's the task at hand. That's the task at hand for the McConnell family. That's the task at hand for Don Waddell and Dean Evson and the leaders and the young stars on this team, is to turn this into Hockeytown, USA. That's the job, right? And it's the support is there, the interest is there, the fandom is there. All you need is the sustained success. And I am fairly confident that what we saw this year was a step towards that sustained success, was a step towards 3 or 4 years from now. Hey, watch out for the Jackets in the East. That's a team that could come out of the East. That's what everybody's been wanting here for the longest time. Look, the Canadians have wanted that for a long time. Do you know how long it's been since Canadian teams won the Cup? It's been forever. Like early 90s, Patrick Waugh in net against Wayne Gretzky. It's been a long time since a Canadian team's won the Cup. So everybody wants it. It's really hard to do. We just haven't had, for myriad reasons, we just have not had that sustained, we're in the mix year in and year out. And I think what you want as a sports fan is you want your teams to have at bats. You want at bats. You want it. Are you guaranteed? Are you entitled championships? No, but it's a lot more fun if you get at bats. And I think probably the organization, in terms of the Big Four, obviously the Crew have been really good for a long time, but the Guardians probably do the best job of that in Ohio, in that they get at bats in the postseason, time in and time out. And so it's easy, although I'm sure Reese would say there are beef that you have with ownership and you wish that they were more aggressive in spending and so forth and so on, and they have not won it, but they've gotten a ton of at-bats over the last 15 years, and they've played for it a lot, and there's value in that, and that's something we just haven't had. And I think because of everything that this Blue Jackets team has gone through this season, hell, even me yesterday. I mean, Bake started the show with Don't Stop Believing, and you start to believe in Kismet and hockey gods and puck luck and all this stuff, and maybe it is meant to be. Who the hell knows? I'm texting with Tim May about it on Tuesday night going, God, maybe this is just magic. I don't know. Sometimes you can't explain it. Sometimes crazy things happen. But the reality is that what happened last night, it sucks. It sucks because you would have loved to have had it tonight on your stick, your skates, and in the hands of that team in that arena, and that was taken last night. And there's a million reasons how it got to that point. But I guess where I'm coming from with this is I am appreciative of the last week. I'm appreciative of the season because what did you say the over-under on these guys was, Bake? 64?
68.5 was the total points.
Yeah, they're going to end with 89 is what it's because they're winning tonight. I mean, it could be 8-0. They'll pour it on tonight. So I guess I'm just appreciative of all of it, but then also the reality of it just sucks that you weren't able to find a way for all of the magic to manifest in a spot in the Stanley Cup playoffs.
It's funny, Bo, how expectations change our perspective of what our teams do. Because this Jackets team, we didn't expect anything from them this year. We didn't, the last couple years, everything has been down. You lose Johnny right before the season. You're like, what is going to happen here with this team? So when this team makes a run like it has and has been there fighting for a playoff spot and you come up just short, it's like, oh, wow, this is, and maybe it's the expectation of what to come, too. You see the excitement of what is building here right now and what could be the next few seasons. I think if Ohio State football had a season like this, we'd be in arms. We'd be outraged that they didn't make it. And
of course,
the Jackets on the cusp here. But because the expectations were so low in the last few years are the way they were, this is so exciting, and this is a success for everyone, and there's hope right now. We have a Buckeye basketball team that's just on the edge, just missing out, and everybody hates it, and I get it because it's the way it is. And we'll hear from Dean Evson this morning on Morning Juice, like, this wasn't the goal when the season started for this team, right?
Yeah.
Their goal internally was Stanley Cup. Whether that's crazy or not, whether we all thought that or not, that was their goal. So for them, they have fallen short. But for everyone else, this team exceeded expectations.
You haven't done the shows that Reese and I do at the start of these seasons yet, but you will with us next fall. Mm-hmm. And one thing that we do is we set the expectations for how we're going to judge a team. What standard are we going to hold them to, right? So, Reese, what was the standard we were going to hold these guys to? Outdoor game viable.
Go 500.
And we wanted to, but I remember this vividly. Be in the mix for the outdoor game. Don't be buried by the outdoor game. And then the second thing we said was, it had nothing to do with point total or accumulation or Stanley Cup playoffs. It came to young guys flourish. You wanted to see Adam Fantelli look like the number 3 pick in the draft. You want to see Kent Johnson have a healthy season and show you more than the flashes that you had seen. Marchenko, no one saw that. No one saw that amount of goals out of him. You didn't think Zach Werenski was going to necessarily elevate to the point where he's maybe the second best defenseman in all of hockey. Like, all of those things just happened. But if you think about the expectations of the team, they were pretty minimal. It was don't be eliminated from the postseason at the outdoor game. Put on a good show. I mean, that's it. Young guys thrive. But then we got a little greedy because all of a sudden you were in the mix, and then you start to believe a little bit.
There's a lot of hope for what's to come with this franchise. And I think it was interesting when you said, the Cleveland Indians, now the Cleveland Guardians, and there are gripes with ownership. But when things really started to change for this organization was 2013. When a plucky player by the name of Jose Ramirez really started to flourish. And similarly this season, you had an Adam Fantelli for the Blue Jackets. So when you get that superstar, everything changes. Mm-hmm. And as you saw over the weekend against Washington, your alpha was also your ass kicker. Mm-hmm. That hasn't happened for this franchise ever.
No.
I mean, he's in rarefied air with what he's done this season. Stuff that Panarin did, stuff that Rick Nash did. Like, one of the two has his jersey hanging at Nationwide Arena. Mm-hmm. And so now that he's coming along with this, you can really start to we're going to do a very different show this October than we did last October, because now it isn't about just staying competitive. Now it's making a playoff push, a serious playoff push. And with the roster you have put together by Don Waddell and coached by Dean Evson, if you add more pieces in the offseason, then you're not satisfied with just a wild card berth. Right?
No, you're not. And it's also, this is the next step for the franchise, which is not to be satisfied by a wild card berth, to now go all in. Now's the time to go all in. And ownership has done that. They're more than willing to. If the plan is right, they're more than willing to. So now is the time to do that. It wasn't this year. This wasn't the time to do it. This offseason is. And anybody who follows professional sports, one of the things NFL guys, you talk to them, they say, everybody thinks that like you just continue from where you were the previous year. Every year's a start over. You have no idea what's going to happen.
And this is going to be, I think, a very fun offseason because Don Waddell and Dean Evson have now had a whole year to be with this team, to see how these guys react in every situation, see what their strengths and their weaknesses are, and now they can go fine-tune, right? They see what they need, and they can go get that. They have cap space to weaponize. Mm-hmm. They have draft picks to weaponize, and they have prospects to weaponize. This team, for the most part, I think is going to be the same when they step on the ice next September for training camp at Nationwide Arena, but there will be differences and there will be expectations. And I just hope that, like tonight, it's a bummer that you're not playing for anything tonight, but I hope, and I think they will because they usually do, I hope the fans show up and show out tonight at Nationwide to appreciate the effort this team put out this year.
I think I know what we're going to see at Nationwide tonight. Want to hear from Dean Evson on it. He was on Morning Juice this morning with the first time he spoke since knowing the fate of this team. I think I have a pretty good idea what it's going to be like tonight. We'll hear from Dean. We are off and running on a Thursday edition, Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
This promo is brought to you by Common Man and Timmy Hall's Ping Pong Game. The Fan.
I can't sleep.
What is it now?
It's the company. It's chaos.
What's chaos now?
The numbers, the expenses, the books. What if we get audited?
No one's going to audit you at 3 a.m. Go to sleep.
I can't sleep.
You could if you used Ramp.
Who said that?
I don't care because they're right. Go to sleep and sign up for Ramp in the morning, Jerry.
Ramp is the corporate card that handles all your tedious financial operations automatically, integrates directly with your ERP, and gives you complete control over every transaction. Ramp gives you everything you need for bulletproof books and a better night's sleep.
Wow, that is exactly what my company needs.
Yes, and exactly what I also need. Go to sleep, Jerry.
Upgrade to Ramp for free today and get $250 at ramp.com/radio. Ramp.com/radio. That's ramp.com/radio.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, it's Leslie from Pella Columbus.
I'm Wilson from that other window place.
And today, Pella's excited to announce our 100-year anniversary.
Cut! Leslie, you accidentally said 100 years.
Not an accident, Wilson.
What?
When you do the windows that look the best, you tend to stick around for a while.
I can't compete with that. Buy from her.
Get the windows that have been around for 100 years. The windows that homeowners rated the leading window brand in Columbus at PellaColumbus.com.
Buy now with pre-tariff pricing at Coughlin Kia. Lease a new 2025 Kia K4, just $195 a month plus taxes and fees. Or choose low 1.9% financing for 60 months on a new 2025 Kia Sportage or Sorrento. Visit CoughlinKia.com.
Coughlin has the car for you.
1.9% for 60 months equals $18.37 per 1,000 with approved credit through Kia Motor Finance. 24-month lease, 10,000 miles per year, 20 cents per mile over. 2025 due. Excludes $250 off fee, $400 disposition fee at lease end. No security deposit. See dealer for details and 43025.
Boating season is finally here, and Buckeye Lake Marina is your go-to destination for all your on-the-water needs. With the largest inventory in Central Ohio, you can choose from top brands like Bennington, South Bay, Crown Line, and more. Buckeye Lake Marina has it all. Pontoon boats, luxury tri-toon boats, even merch. Open 7 days a week to serve you better. Find your next dream boat at Buckeye Lake Marina. Visit BuckeyeLakeMarina.com today for all your on-the-water needs. The good life, the lake life, starts at Buckeye Lake Marina.
There's a new way to surround yourself with savings at Giant Eagle and Market District. Shop Giant Eagle's uncompromising quality at a reliable price with everyday savings. Look for signs throughout the store to find bargains on produce, meat, and more. At Giant Eagle, we combine exceptional customer service and quality foods, all at great value to make the most of your shopping trip. Visit Giant Eagle or Market District today to see how easy it is to save.
Of your favorite fan content? Good news, we're on all the digitals. Follow 971 The Fan on X, Facebook, YouTube, The Talk, and Gram. Your digital home for endless shenanigans. The Fan.
Did you know 38% of Ohio's teenagers have spent money on gambling in video and online games? Items like mystery boxes, skins, and spin to win mimic gambling, putting children at a higher risk of experiencing a gambling disorder as an adult. So get in the know about youth gambling and start the conversation with discussion guides, parent resources, and more at ChangeTheGameOhio.org. That's ChangeTheGameOhio.org.
Help DEA keep our communities safe and healthy by participating in National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day, Saturday, April 26th. Take action right in your own home by cleaning out your medicine cabinet of unneeded medications. Keep them safe, clean them out, take them back. Find a collection site near you at DEATakeback.com. Do your part to lower overdose deaths and prevent prescription drug misuse before it starts. That's DEATakeback.com.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
We're looking at a cold morning out there. Temperatures in the 30s, low 30s, so bundle up as you head out the door. Sunshine will carry us to the mid-60s this afternoon, though, before a small shower chance slides through this evening. Temperatures out there for tomorrow back into the sunshine with highs in the upper 70s to near 80. Storm chances are back this weekend. That's your latest 10 weather impact forecast. I'm meteorologist Michael Behrens on 97.1 The Fan.
The only radio show Ryan Day listens to when we're holding him hostage, making him listen to a radio show. The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
The Fan. Taking the art of sports radio and day drinking to a whole new level. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
And as always, we are brought to you and sponsored by our great friends at Diamond Cellar, your true jeweler for over 78 years. I think it'll be mostly a celebration tonight. I think it'll be a full house. I think there will be a big ovation at the end when all is said. I think they're going to annihilate, too. Like, it feels like one of those ones where it's 5-0 or something like that. I think they play really well. That's my anticipation. These end-of-season games, I haven't been to one in a while, probably in terms of when you know it's over and you were in the mix all the way. It's probably been a decade or so since I've been to one of those at Nationwide. But there's a helplessness to it. There is a... Man, this sucks to it. I told the story earlier this week of doing a live shot from there when I was with Channel 10 at Wall to Wall Sports, and they were melting the ice, and they had a tractor out there that was breaking the ice up in the background. You go, God, that sucks. So that part of it will not be a whole lot of fun, but I do think there will be a great deal of appreciation for the run that this team had. And this has been, despite missing it by what's going to amount to 2 points, certainly one of the more memorable seasons, good and bad, in the history of the franchise. And so it's something no one's ever going to forget. And a lot of that has to do with the way that this team responded to unspeakable tragedy all season long. So it's a hell of a story to be told. Dean Evson was on with Morning Juice this morning, and his first chance to kind of address everything that happened. Here's Evson on the unfortunate bit of this, which is they will not get a chance to win this on their own sticks tonight.
Yeah, we're all right. Obviously, we're disappointed. We're sad. We're a little bit peeved off, but it happens. Obviously, we played well here as of late. It's unfortunate we don't have an opportunity here tonight to get in.
This obviously wasn't the goal for them. While this exceeded the expectation all of us had, they thought that they were going to get in, and that was the goal. Here's Dean on that.
I'll be honest with you. I've heard that a lot. We've, a lot of people have said, nice things about how we've, played. But end of the day, our job is to, compete every night and get the job done and obviously get into the playoffs. That's we've talked about that before. Our goal is to win the Stanley Cup, and we have to make steps in that direction. If that's the first round, second round, third round, or the finals. But we didn't get our step today or this year, and that's disappointing. So we have to obviously continue to work. Are we happy with the way we competed for a majority of the season? Sure, 100%. But at the end of the day, we got to get the job done.
This is also an interesting one. The fellas asked him what his message to the team will be today. Here's Dean on that.
Well, the message is the same. We've been consistent with that all year. The players have been very consistent in how we prepared and got ready to play. Doesn't matter who, when, and where we play. We play the same way or try to play the exact same way as the Columbus Blue Jackets need to play in order to have success. We'll prepare exactly the same as if we have an opportunity, obviously. We have to play the game. We have to, we want to win the hockey game. That's the bottom line. So we'll do the exact same thing. We'll worry about reflecting on the year after the season is finished. Tonight we have a job to do, and our job is to prepare to play as hard as we possibly can when the puck's dropped here tonight.
Can you imagine anyone on the planet doing a better job than he did this year?
No. Bo, it's funny when you were we're listening to that cut about the goals, and this isn't the goal. We want to make. There's only been a few times in Jackets history, a few coaches where I've heard them say that, and you actually believed it, right? Like everybody says that, but like when the Jackets had Ken Hitchcock here, it was different, and you could tell there was a plan behind the bench, and there was a way that this team was going to play. No matter what. You got that a little bit with Todd Richards, but you never felt he had the hammer to drive it home. They had some good years with Todd Richards, but never the hammer to drive it home. And then, of course, you had it with Torts. That's been lacking the past couple years here. But with Dean, man, do I feel like he was the right guy at the right time for this team. And he just gets it, man. He's a pro through and through. He played the game. He was a grinder. And, man, when he says that, like, I actually believe that. I have a belief that that's true when you hear it from him.
We go back to, stuff we've said with Ryan Day and the Ohio State football team when they made their run to the national championship. Like, their words, sure, they mean one thing, but it's like the actions mean a whole lot more. And it's similar with this front office of the Blue Jackets and how this team has carried itself on the ice for the majority of this season. Like, their actions have told us that their goals aren't just doing this, just getting to the end of the season in contention for a playoff berth, being not mathematically eliminated when they show that graphic the last month of the season. It took to the second to last day of the actual year before that graphic changed to where the Blue Jackets mathematically are out of it. And it's what you've seen on the ice and really off the ice, how this team's battled together despite unspeakable tragedy to begin it, that gives me great confidence in the direction of this organization. Only 6 times in its 25-year history have they won 40 or more games in a season. They have that great opportunity tonight against the Islanders.
Yeah, there's only 5-point accumulations that are bigger than what they're going to get tonight because they're going to win tonight. There's only 5 times they've scored. Now, probably could have been 6 because the other one was a 70-game COVID season where they made the postseason where they had 81 points, I want to say. But they're going to get 89, which is so far and above what anybody thought possible. And I remember saying this when you think about when the Blue Jackets start, you think about training camp, you think about the start of the season, we're really excited about that home opener. We're jacked up about that. And then we always say, because there is so much attention around here to Buckeye football and the NFL and everything that comes with it, be in the mix in January, right? Be in the mix. And they were. And I remember saying this at the start of the season. The name that I kept coming back to was Fantelli. That's the name. I want to see what he does in year 2. Because he was the guy, that was a 2-person draft leading up to it. It was Bedard, it was Fantelli. Carlson was a late riser, and Thank goodness Anaheim took him at second. Maybe he turns out to be a great player too. Who knows? But right now, Fantelli looks the best of the three of them. And he looks like a guy who's going to have a C on his chest one day. He looks like face of the franchise guy going forward. He looks like a superstar. And what we saw from him, to me, that makes this all gravy. And it's not just him. It's all of that youth. Like, it all blossomed and they all grew. And they now have this muscle memory of this is what it takes, man. Dean weighed in on it because I do think Fantelli, when we look back on the season, we're going to think about Fantelli and his growth. Here's Dean on that.
Yeah, we had a lot of learning experiences and situations throughout the season where he has absolutely dialed in, played the way that he needs to play to help the Columbus Blue Jackets win, and obviously he's had success individually with scoring goals and putting up points. But again, just as we've talked about Jet, he has been a team-first guy. He's committed to keep the puck out of the net. He's not he's worried about just scoring goals, where maybe in the first month or whatever he possibly was, but he's realized and matured to the point where he understands that in order to play in the National Hockey League and help this hockey club win hockey games, it's not just scoring goals, it's not just putting up points, it's playing the right way. And for a lot of this season, he was a major part in leading us in that direction.
Yeah, I mean, you just look at their season point leaders, goal leaders. Marchenko 31, Fantelli 30, Johnson 24 in just 67 games. Werenski at 22. Crazy. Voronkov was over 22. Monahan would have been approaching 30. He only played 53 games. I mean, he was an incredible signing. And so all of those things are wins. And so I think what you're going to see tonight is a celebration of that, but also kind of a, damn it, so close. And so it'll be a little bit of mix of that and what I think will be an emotional night at Nationwide Arena. We'll do a little Shelley time coming up at 11:30, get Jody's take on what happened last night and what we expect to see tonight in the season finale at Nationwide. Coming up next, 2 minutes from now, the NFL Draft is 1 week from tonight. What do we believe in the latest buzz that is out there? We will get to that in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Empower. Nick bought a new guitar, a 62 American Classic Electric. Does he know how to play? No. But Nick's Empower investment account has performed well. He got good at money, so he can be a little bad. Empower. Invest well, live a little. Start today at empower.com.
Past performance is not indicative of future returns. Investing involves risks. You may lose money. Advisory services are provided for a fee by Empower Advisory Group, LLC, EAG, a registered investment advisor with the Securities and Exchange Commission. This is a really, really, really good guitar solo.
Quarterback Jordan Love isn't just on Green Bay's team. He's also on the American Family Insurance team. Because like us, he believes in dreaming fearlessly.
Just chase your dreams and don't let nobody hold you back.
And we help protect those dreams with the right coverage so you can
dream fearlessly.
American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
The Roofing Guys are your locally owned, trusted family business right here in Central Ohio. They've been hammering quality and service through the roof for over 25 years, offering professional services in roofing, siding, gutters, and more. Contact them at theroofingguys.com. That's theroofingguys.com.
Huntington is banking that just clicks. Like asterisk-free checking. An account that's filled with features, but no monthly maintenance fee, no matter what. Because it's your money, right? So we think you should keep it. It's just one more way we're looking out for people every day. Is your bank looking out for you? Maybe it's time to switch. Visit your neighborhood Huntington branch or make the switch at huntington.com/yourmoney.
Master Grillers Unite. The grilling season never ends at Billiards Plus. Come see their best-in-class grills for yourself and check out Central Ohio's largest selection of pool tables, game furniture, and shuffleboard. Family-owned and operated. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
What's up?
What's up, man? What's up with you?
Sponsored by High Bank Distillery, home of the best blended whiskey in America. Grab a bottle or dine in at their 3 restaurant locations, Grandview, Gahanna, and now in Westerville. Drink local. Drink High Bank.
All right, here's what's up on a Thursday edition of the program. A week from today, we will be on the precipice of round one of the NFL draft. It's been on a Thursday for a while now. 2s and 3s will happen on Friday. I love the NFL draft. I love any draft. I love an NBA draft, not baseball and hockey. I just don't know enough of the guys so that you don't pay quite as close attention. But NBA and NFL, I'm in. And NFL, you know so many of the guys, and so it certainly works. But there's also a sense of hope that comes with it, right? Like this idea that with one pick we can flip things around. I do think that this is the quietest lead up to an NFL draft that I can remember in a long, long time. And I don't know if just because a consensus has formed with Cam Ward at number 1 with Tennessee. You saw him playing Fortnite the other day, and he listed his top 4 NFL receivers, and 2 of them were Titans receivers. It was Calvin Ridley and Treylon Burks, and then the other 2 were Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase as his top 4 receivers in the NFL. So that feels like a fait accompli. I'll tell you, fellas, the one thing that's pretty remarkable, and I remember telling this story in the lead up to the going to the combine and even in Indy during the combine. Usually there is a combine consensus that forms, and it becomes kind of a consensus that rides, a truth really, that rides all the way until the draft. Coming out of the combine, it was Tennessee is not taking a quarterback at number 1. They're going to take Abdul Carter, and it was the Browns are taking a quarterback at 2. We are 7 days out, and it now feels foregone conclusion, Cam Ward number 1 overall, Brown's not a quarterback at number 2 overall. So a lot has changed, and both of those operations have been relatively steel-trapped in terms of information getting out. There's been nothing that has gotten out of Berea. Nothing. It's funny. You see people go on and say, I think they're going to do this. I think they're going to do this. It's guesswork. It's total guesswork because it's not steeped in fact in any way. So whatever they do a week from today, whatever they're going to do on Friday, it's going to be a surprise to a lot of people. It feels like it's Travis Hunter, but that's basically just based on circumstantial evidence of a dinner that they had with him. There really isn't anything else that leads you to that conclusion.
You could say the NFL draft's all guesswork, even by teams. You know, the absolute knowns in this draft, I don't know if they exist. Because even with Cam Ward, and a lot of times watching quarterbacks this season, I did it through the lens of the Cleveland Browns. And you watch Cam Ward and you think, Kevin Stefanski wants... I don't feel like Kevin Stefanski would want anything to do with the Cam Ward experience. But the upside could convince you to draft him if he was available to you. It's not really, to your point about nothing's come out of that organization, but Joe Flacco did come in. And I think that's really made it an easier for everybody, front office, fans alike, for the Browns to have flexibility at 2, knowing that you have a quarterback that doesn't force you into a pick where you can take best player available, whether it be Travis Hunter, whether it be Abdul Carter, with that second spot. And then Tyler Shuck's getting a lot of buzz right now. We're, again, a week out of this thing. But you could see the Browns doing something later on Friday, maybe on Saturday, that would make you feel comfortable right now.
Bo, you were adamant a while back that the Browns not only needed to, but would draft a quarterback at 2. What do you think has changed here, and why is that not the case?
Nothing's changed for me. Like, I think they should. I like Shedeur Sanders.
I kind of do too, because he's not
really
getting out of 10.
I think he's really accurate. I think he's tough as nails. I think he's a really good teammate. I think he never pointed a finger at anybody despite getting battered routinely at Colorado. I think he gets an unfortunate bad rap that is not deserved because of, I think teams have this perception of him because the way that they marketed the Colorado program. And so I think there's that part of it that's a little bit unfair to him. But yeah, I think that the number 2 pick in the draft, if you're Cleveland, if it doesn't manifest you directly the quarterback of the future for the Cleveland Browns, then it damn well better lead to you getting the quarterback of the future of the Cleveland Browns. And so nothing's changed with me, Bake. I just think what's potentially changed with them, and it's steel trap. Now, Andrew Berry's going to talk today, but he ain't going to say anything. This is something that they're mandated to do. He's not going to tip his hand on anything. So it'll be tough because there's people ask him a bunch of questions and he won't really give you any real big answers. The only thing that I would say is, and this is, if you're that front office and you're Andrew Berry, you're Kevin Stefanski, and you're the decision makers up in Cleveland, and this draft is this critical, I would just tell them, my advice to them, not that they'd want it or even listen to it, would be take the people you have conviction about. Don't be swayed. Take the people you love, because when you get to a point like the one that they're at and you're this far into a build and you've had some successes but not ultimate successes, you got a big miss, right? You got a big miss on the trade with what happened with Deshaun Watson. Like, you need to have a stockpile of talent that comes in. You have done the due diligence. You have people who you trust, who you've hired in scouting, college and pro scouting. You need to trust them, and you need to trust your board. And I do worry, not just with them, but with anybody, I do worry about information overload, where you start to talk yourself out of your own beliefs, and you have to trust your process, whatever that may be. At least then you can sleep well at night. So if they're in a situation where the only quarterback they love is Cam Ward, and I'm with you, Reese, from the standpoint of, like, it doesn't feel like stylistically that's a fit for what Kevin wants at all. Because if you watch film of Cam Ward, he will wow you with his arm. He's a really good athlete, but he misses a lot of layups for stuff down the field. Does that feel like something that Kevin Stefanski would want in a quarterback? Doesn't to me, but maybe they just love him. And again, steel trap, it's hard to say. Maybe you get some candor when this thing's all said and done, but there's been nothing that's leaked out of Berea in terms of how they feel about those guys. But if you only like Ward and you're like, we like Shedeur, there's parts of it, but he's not a sure thing. And here are there's a consensus. One thing that is consensus is there's 5 guys in this draft that most people would say are lock, stock dudes. And it's Abdul Carter, Travis Hunter, Mason Graham, Tyler Warren, Ashton Genty. Those are the ones that when you talk to any analyst, and I've talked to all of them over the last 2.5 months, they all circle back to those 5. Sometimes there's a Jalen Walker in there. Sometimes people mention somebody else, but it's usually those 5 that are like, yeah, those are all dudes. Sometimes Cam's in that mix. Sometimes he's not. Some people like Shedeur. Some people don't. But the consensus is Abdul Carter, Travis Hunter, Mason Graham, Tyler Warren, Ashton Genty. Those are all dudes. So if you're getting one of those sure things in Travis Hunter, just think of this from a roster construction standpoint. If it is Travis Hunter, you now have an ultimate weapon offensively. You have the best receiver and best corner in this draft. So whichever size he emphasizes first, that takes care of that. He'd be fun in that part of it too. That's part of it. That's probably not Kevin Stefanski's part of it. It's probably not Andrew Berry's part of it. But if you own the Cleveland Browns, that's kind of fun. Having a guy back there who's an ultimate home run hitter, that's a fun time. You enjoy that. So I think all of those things factor in, and I think that if you're them and you're in a position of like, we have to totally buttress this roster, you take Travis Hunter at 2, you sleep well at night knowing we have an ultimate weapon now offensively, and we have a guy, or if he just wants to play corner, we have a lockdown corner opposite Denzel, who, by the way, has had 6 concussions. So he plays both positions elite, and both of the positions he plays are elite positions in the NFL, where you got to have dudes.
It's funny, the Giants general manager come out and say, yeah, we wouldn't have a single problem playing Travis Hunter both ways. And then you can copy and paste that to the 31 other GMs that are like, yeah, no, we'd be totally good with that. Real quick to your point about Ashton Genty being an absolute stud, that's known. If he goes top 5, what does that speak to maybe having Travion, a late first, very early second-round pick, or Quinshawn?
It speaks to it a lot. You know?
Because do teams go, well, we got to get somebody.
Yeah, and I think there's incredible depth at the position. So think about Genty, and I think this depends a lot on like what would make sense. Okay, so there's a team right here that I look at and I go, if he gets here, forget it, and that's Chicago. Like if they have receiver talent, they've got weapons, they've got Caleb. Like I look at Chicago and I think, geez, do they add him to the rest of that weaponry there? Right? I mean, that's one that would make some sense. You think about the Raiders at 6. Right? So I think there's a lot that's going to happen in this top 10 with those 5 or 6 sure things. I don't think Shedeur is going to fall the way that people do. I don't. I think he's going to end up going no later than 9 to the Saints. I just think a lot of this has been subterfuge. So to me, New Orleans at 9, and that might be a very good fit for him. I think what it's going to come down, we're going to play some audio from Will Howard a little bit later in the show, is there's now a difference between, if you're the Browns, you take a guy at 2, he better be your franchise quarterback. You draft a guy at 33 or 67, or even if you wait till Saturday, then you're taking a flyer. And I think to your point, Reese, what Flacco's signing does is it takes the pressure off of you to play the rookie. Because Flacco is so popular up there, and he's been so competent in that offense, it allows for, if you take a rookie that's a little raw, if you take a guy like Jackson Dart, who needs to be schooled in a much more sophisticated offense than the one that he's playing in, if you take a guy like Jalen Milroe, who really needs like quarterback finishing school, if you take a guy like Will Howard, I was talking to Tyvis about this yesterday, who needs a lot more NFL-style football, then there's no pressure to play any of those. Kyle McCord, whoever, Quinn Ewers, there's no pressure to play that guy. None. Like, you've got Flacco and you've got a former first-rounder in Pickett. You can kind of play the long game at quarterback. So if the way that it goes is the way that it's trending, which is Hunter, then where do they go at quarterback going forward? So could a lot happen between now and next Thursday? Yeah, it's been real quiet since. The one thing that I think will happen is I think you will get an answer on Aaron Rodgers between now and next Thursday. I don't think Pittsburgh's going to go into the draft not knowing if they have Rodgers or not. I don't sense that's the case. My guess is you'll get an answer on that between now and then. All right. Speaking of that, did you see the report from Aditi Kinkhabala, formerly of NFL Network of CBS, where she said that Aaron Rodgers is more likely to retire rather than play for a non-Super Bowl contender? Well, yeah. I bet. I didn't think that he would go to some garbage team that had no chance of making the postseason. Like, at this point in his career, I assumed I think we all assumed that was going to be the case. All right, we could have some clarity on where Nico Iamaleava will end up. We also have a portal addition, or rather a portal entrant, that I think would interest Ohio State in a very, very big way. We will get to that story coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We used to have a billboard with our host's face on it, but only ugly people work here now.
You mama say you ugly, hey!
The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, where we've successfully treated thousands of men for low testosterone and helped them feel like their old selves again. Please take a moment and listen to how we help Billy.
Hi, I'm Billy Hatcher, a former professional baseball player, and I'm a patient at Tri-State Men's Health. Before I started the treatment, it was like my body was sore all the time, and I was feeling very, very sluggish. One day, I would be full of energy, and the next day was like, where did all my energy go? And since I've started, my body hasn't felt this good in a long time. I feel like, I'm not 21 to 25 again. It's just been great. I feel very, very comfortable coming here. When you have the energy, it's amazing. You get to do so many other things that you couldn't do prior to that. If you're tired of hurting in the mornings, you want to improve your health, you want to feel better, give a call to Tri-State Men's Health. I promise you, you will feel better.
Thanks, Billy. It's true. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com.
Hey, it's Leslie from Pella Columbus.
I'm Wilson from that other window place. Wait, Leslie, what is that dude doing over there at that window?
Well, that dude is Chase, and Chase is making that window look perfect. We're sticklers on detail, Wilson, both in our showroom and definitely in people's homes.
Chase, be careful. May have spilled some coffee over there just a bit ago.
Oh, he knows. He seems to work a lot more when you're around, Wilson. Get the window that homeowners rated the leading window brand in Columbus at PellaColumbus.com.
At Diamonds Direct, we believe luxury is an experience and not a price tag. Luxury is expert guidance. It's the selection of 10 jewelry stores under one roof. It's saving time on endless comparison shopping, and you'll only find this experience at Diamonds Direct. Our luxury showroom has it all backed by our lifetime warranties and our signature best price guarantee. Diamonds Direct is the perfect combination of luxury and value, so you don't ever have to compromise. Learn more at diamondsdirect.com. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 41,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
At Meijer, we work hard to bring more locally grown goodness to life with a farm-fresh selection of crisp vegetables and juicy, ready-to-eat fruit. Whether topping off kebabs on the grill or adding healthy color to a leafy green salad, your family will definitely enjoy the delicious taste of Meijer produce. Plus, you'll appreciate the selection and savings we have to offer. That's the fresh-picked good life, priced for real life. We work hard to make life a good deal better at Meijer.
After an audit of our programming, the suits here at the Fan decided we needed more baseball. And that common man is stupid. Good news. We fixed one of those problems. Catch the Reds on the Fan all season long. Yay, baseball.
Progressive knows when you're on your boat, you're already on vacation. And Vacation You forgets all your worries. Vacation You doesn't even keep track of time and knows that time is a meaningless construct designed to control us, man. But Regular You knows you don't want to be too far out in the water after the sun goes down because Vacation You doesn't know how to navigate in the dark yet. Vacation You and Regular You really need to get on the same page. So bundle your boat with your home or auto policy and earn an automatic discount from Progressive. And spend the savings on the both of you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Every great team has its core players, but when the season gets tough, adding the right free agent can make all the difference. The same goes for business. At Robert Half, we found that 67% of companies surveyed plan to increase their use of contract talent to handle workload peaks and backlogged projects. With Robert Half's specialized recruiters' experience, combined with our award-winning AI, you can quickly find the skilled candidates you want. At Robert Half, we know talent. Discover how we can help at roberthalf.com/talent.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Carpenter Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electric, and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep your home comfortable. The Fan.
The perfect show for quarter zips and khaki shorts. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
The portal is open, and it is popping. Hayes Fawcett on 3 reporting North Carolina standout transfer edge Bo Atkinson, who is in the portal, will visit Ohio State and Georgia. That means he's a dude. If those are the two schools you're visiting, that means he's a dude. 6'6", 265, Atkinson, 11 sacks through 2 seasons with the Tar Heels. He'll have 2 years of eligibility left. There were a lot of Carolina guys who jumped in. A lot. I think that's just going to be one of the more fascinating things to follow this year, how this goes with Belichick and how he handles roster retention, and do they win? I mean, because you look at what they're doing in the portal, what they've done in recruiting, it just has not happened. So that's one of those. You think about there's things that I think Ohio State positionally will look for. I do think defensive tackle is one of them. I don't necessarily know that they had a huge need at defensive end, but this is the other category, right? So if you think about the portal at a place like Ohio State, there's 2 buckets. There's one bucket that is, these are the things that we kind of need for next season. All right. We went through spring. We know who can play and who can't. We certainly like our young talent. We need a couple of these guys at these positions. My guess is they would probably add a little bit more to the offensive line. My guess is they'd add a little bit more at D tackle. I'm guessing they'd like to add a veteran quarterback. That's my guess. I had thought that maybe they'd want to add a running back, but I think they like what they have. I think Bo Jackson showed them something. The freshman. And they have Donaldson look great in the spring game. They know what James Peoples is, and everything you're hearing is that he's a dude. So they're pretty good at running back. So I don't know that they're going to have to go in there. So that's the first bucket. The second bucket is, if something special becomes available, we'd be stupid not to listen. So that's the Julian Sand bucket. They didn't go into the portal last year and think, we got to go get a freshman quarterback. They had quarterbacks out the wazoo, all of them that you need. But all of a sudden, the number one quarterback in the whole damn country as a true freshman comes in to play and is now available. You'd be silly not to take him on. I don't know if they went in saying, hey, we got to get another center, but all of a sudden Seth McLaughlin becomes available and you go, oh, okay, well, I'm interested in that. I don't know that they went into last offseason going, well, we got to get the best safety in the country, but when the best safety in the country becomes available, you'd be an idiot not to listen. So I think those are the 2 buckets that Ohio State will use to approach this portal. There's some positional depth that we need to add to here and there, but we're not going to be held over the barrel by anybody. If you go to the Texas game with the roster exactly as it is right now, you feel very good about it. But there's probably some depth that needs to be added. And then the second bucket is, stud becomes available, we'd be idiots not to listen. And that's what it seems like with this Atkinson kid out of Carolina. Like, this kid's really good. This is an immediate starter, rotational guy. let's go. And he's obviously a serious dude because he's looking at Ohio State and Georgia.
Yeah, Bo, for your kids, right? When Sydney Sweeney becomes available and knocking on your door, you answer, right?
How do you I'm trying to, like, NBC's she's probably his generation. I'm trying to think of, like, when I was his age. Oh, it would have been Pamela Anderson. That's what it would have been. When I was his age, it would have been Pamela Anderson, Jenny McCarthy. Like, that would have been. They weren't actresses. I mean, I guess they were. They were on Baywatch. I mean, she was on Baywatch, so I guess she acted.
You saying that's not acting, Bo?
Well, I don't know. I guess CJ had a lot of very dramatic pulls from the ocean on Baywatch. There was a lot of those that she had to deal with. A lot of sprinting to four-wheelers and driving down the coast front. I mean, I guess there's some of that.
Miracle how they were all in slow-mo, too. You would think that would be faster in an emergency.
You'd want to go fast, but no, she was definitely. I think that's it. Who was yours? Who was your 7th grade crush?
That's probably right up there. Some of those Baywatch girls. Maybe a Tiffany Amber Thiessen, Saved by the Bell.
Dude.
We're all in there. Kelly Kapowski.
When Kelly Kapowski shows up on 90210 as a bad girl, come on.
It's a whole nother level, right?
What are we doing? Like, she was just the cheerleader now. She's seducing Dylan McKay? Come on. Reese, who was yours?
Lindsay Lohan in Mean Girls.
Not bad. That's a good one.
Megan Fox in Transformers.
How about Megan Fox? To me, looks exactly the same now as she did 20 years ago.
Good genes.
Drinking that tiger blood.
I guess so. I don't know, but yeah, she had a bit of a fastball. So that's it. That's what this is. All of a sudden, somebody like that becomes available, and you got to pounce. And that's kind of where the Buckeyes are. I thought this was hilarious. This is, to me, great. Colin Cowherd, who, when he was doing his ESPN show, and I think he still sort of does it with his Fox show, but when he was doing his ESPN Daily show, this is a dude who did 3 hours of radio and did it largely solo for the most part. I mean, they have guests, but largely it was solo.
Still does for the most part.
Yeah, that's a big job to do that daily on any level, but to do it on national level is crazy. So he had a tweet yesterday saying, "I am told moments ago," I like the moments ago in there, "Nico Iamaleava is going to UCLA. Family still claims it's not about the money. It's about Vols football's offense. I was not told what the Bruins are paying." Two things I would say on this. Number one, you had a problem with Tennessee's offense. That I don't buy at all. So he has some really bad messaging folks around him right away. We'll talk to Paul Finebomb at 10:30 on this. He's going to be plugged in on all of it. I just don't believe this. I don't believe that this is a football decision. I don't think it's a Tennessee volunteer offense position. What is it about UCLA's offense last year under Deshaun Foster that you were like, oh, baby?
We're in L.A.
What is it? They're in L.A. Okay, yeah, fine.
The more that comes out about the Nico Iamaleava situation, the more I feel just bad for Nico and the terrible advice that he's getting from either it's his father who needs to put the phone down, or the third uncles, or the agents. The idea that they're negotiating with Tennessee in the midst of a playoff run. Like, I can't imagine you sit there in a room and you think this is going to end well. We're going to get what we want out of this, despite them basically bending over backwards for you in the high school recruitment process.
Yeah.
And I imagine at this point, Nico is about getting as much as he can. But at one point, it felt like, or it feels like with all of these kids, they just want to play football. And they just want to go to the best place that they can to develop into an NFL quarterback. And the idea that Josh Heupel's Tennessee offense is the problem, despite Tennessee hiring Josh Heupel because of his offense, or his offensive acumen at least, would lead me to believe that this is just the latest in a series of missteps by the Iamaleava camp. And that's fine if they want to go to UCLA for maybe $2 million a year, but to finish 13th in the Big Ten, no NFL scout's going to look at you and be like, yeah, you're an elevator.
Well, this is even more than just a college conversation, Reese. This is going to carry with him. It's going to hang around his neck in the league,
because they're going to look for a quarterback. If you're getting drafted in the first round, are you an elevator? Is Nico an elevator?
No. Are the people around you a pain in the neck? He's going to end up being a cautionary tale here. Because I do think he was made to made an example of. I think it was easy to do. I think, as I said yesterday, I think he was a perfect candidate for that. So if it's UCLA, and we don't play UCLA until what, 2076? We ever going to play that? I don't know.
It'll be a 30-18 college football playoff.
Right. Jeez, I don't know if you'll ever play them. We'll get Paul's take on this, and I'm guessing he has lots of them. We have your emails coming up next. A lot of good ones in here. We'll get to the mailbag and get it opened up coming up next. Second hour, Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Oh, hey, the best football team in the country's on the best radio station in the country. Congratulations, Buckeyes. Here's to 100 more years together. Your home of the Buckeyes, The Fan.
Everyone deserves a fast and reliable connection. One that helps better their everyday through the things they value most. Friends and family, education and career. A connection that opens pathways to opportunity and builds roads to a better future. At Spectrum, we're committed to delivering just that every single day. Because with the right connection, anything is possible. That's Life Unlimited. That's Spectrum.
Montana, Bettis, Horning, and Brown, some of the greatest of all time, kicked off their careers in South Bend. You can celebrate Notre Dame football's impact on the professional game by visiting the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton to experience Gold Helmet to Gold Jacket now through April 27th. And register to win our grand prize at 971thefan.com/Gold Jacket. One winner will receive 2 tickets to the Hall of Fame game, enshrinement ceremony, and the Hall of Fame Museum. That's 971thefan.com/Gold Jacket.
He shoots. He scores! It's a great time of year to be a fan, but the fun stops when you or a loved one can't control your gambling. Maryhaven is here to help with in-person, virtual, and group options. Learn more at maryhaven.com.
Let's go to the floor with some late-breaking developments on the markets. Jim?
Up things are down, down things are up.
Sounds like things
You
are...
don't understand. Right is left, lemons are sweet, spaghetti is cold, the milk is warm.
Okay, but are you seeing anything that maybe smart-minded money people should know about?
Yeah. Apex Pros.
The pros who knows?
Probably one of the most stable things you can do is an Apex Pros air conditioner tune-up.
Air conditioner tune-ups, you say?
Oh, yeah. Apex Pros knows most expensive summer breakdowns can be prevented by getting a tune-up now.
Yes, it's known that a tuned-up AC lowers energy bills, which is important to...
Oh, this is unbelievable.
What, big sell-off? Huge increase?
No, I spilled coffee on my new shirt. Anyway, tune-up save on energy bills, plus make your air conditioner last years longer.
Good to know Apex Pros keeps things stable and predictable.
That's on my pants, too. This is the worst day. This is historic. You know that.
No doubt about it. Columbus loves Apex Pros. The pros who knows. ApexPros.com.
Huntington is banking that just clicks. Like early pay, moving up payday so you could get your money faster, up to 2 days faster. And there's no cost. It's your money, right? So stop playing the waiting game. It's just one more way we're looking out for people every day. Is your bank looking out for you? Maybe it's time to switch. Visit your neighborhood Huntington branch or make the switch at huntington.com/yourmoney. Direct deposit and eligibility requirements apply.
Forever starts with the perfect diamond. Hi, it's Alex Johnson from the Diamond Cellar, and for over 78 years, our family has helped generations of couples celebrate love with brilliance, quality, and unbeatable prices. At Diamond Cellar, bigger diamonds and better prices are our promise to you. Whether you're popping the question or upgrading your sparkle, trust the experts. Because diamonds, they're our forte. Visit us at Diamond Cellar on Sawmill Road or at Easton Town Center and learn more at diamondcellar.com.
Care Heating and Cooling. Honest technicians, honest pricing. Call 1-800-COOLING.
And the top overall pick in this year's draft is the ESPN Bet Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus. That's right, it's number one in my heart. This is Scotty Vegas, and we're hosting a special draft show and watch party starting at 7 p.m. Thursday, April 24th for the first round of the draft. Watch and place wagers on the picks with over 30 kiosks, contests, prizes, and a live show at 7 at the ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Must be 21 or older to enter. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Vivid Seats is your ultimate destination for basketball and hockey this season. With a game-changing rewards program and an unbeatable selection of tickets, they make it easy for every fan to watch their favorite teams and players in action. Catch every one-timer and buzzer-beating 3 live and in person from your favorite seat. Plus, every ticket is backed by a 100% buyer guarantee, giving you peace of mind with every purchase. Don't miss out. Visit VividSeats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
Brought to you by the Capital One Savor Card. With Savor, you earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining, entertainment, and at grocery stores. That's unlimited cash back on ordering takeout from home or unlimited cash back on tickets to concerts and games. So grab a bite, grab a seat, and earn unlimited 3% cash back with the Savor Card. Capital One, what's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. Only 6 times in the 25-year history of the Columbus Blue Jackets has the team won 40 or more games in a season. This CBJ team can reach that 40-win mark by beating the Islanders tonight at Nationwide. Face-off there is 7 o'clock. We'll have that game on the Fan with coverage at 6:30. Jackets were officially eliminated from the playoffs last night as the Canadiens beat the Hurricanes 4-2 in regulation, putting Montreal 4 points clear of Columbus for that final wildcard spot in the East. The Stanley Cup playoffs begin on Saturday. The NBA playoffs begin on Sunday. The final 2 play-in games will be on Friday. The Heat battle the Hawks to see who gets the Cavaliers in their first-round matchup that starts on Sunday. This update is sponsored by the Waterworks. Get up to $2,000 off a new complete furnace and AC system with the Waterworks. Visit online today at thewaterworks.com. Breaking sports news when it happens on the Fan, Ohio sports destination.
They'll offer betting advice, but don't bet on it being good. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
So, UCLA will be here in November.
Welcome back, Nico.
We'll kind of look at it. UCLA was 5-7 last year, 3-6 in the league.
Think Nico somehow comes down injured that week, doesn't want to get his helmet cracked again in the shoe?
Jeez. Yeah, I mean, their schedule's pretty brutal. They open with Utah, at UNLV, then New Mexico, then at Northwestern, Penn State at home, at Michigan State, Maryland at home, at Indiana, Nebraska at home, at Ohio State, Washington at home, and then at USC. And they went 5-7. It's funny. USC went 7-6. UCLA went 5-7. Washington in year 1 went 6-7 in the Big Ten. Only Oregon obviously was undefeated.
And who's to say with Nico, you talk about those first 4 games of the season for the Bruins, he doesn't just take the medical red shirt, go a couple games in, realize this isn't what I want, and then just quit.
I'm guessing. Well, that'll be things that people will say about him. My guess is that the compensation folks with the NIL package will tie performance to that.
Like a contract?
Yeah. Yeah. I was listening to Herbie he was on McAfee yesterday talking about this isn't what NIL is. NIL is you're supposed to create your market and you're supposed to do this, this, and this. No, this is what NIL is, Kirk. This is exactly what it is.
How in 2025 are we still missing this?
Yeah, I don't know. Dude, you're the voice of college football. This is what it is. This is college football. It's been this way as soon as they did it. It was always going to be this way without any rules. So, to live in this fantasy world of where you're supposed to create your own market and all of these things. No, that's not what it is. It's been pay for play from the moment that it happened. That's it. Now, sometimes it works for marketing, and that's fine. But this is what it is, and it's been this way from the beginning. All right, time to open up that mailbag. Go ahead, guys.
Our comment box is always open. Any feedback is mostly appreciated.
The mail never stops. It just keeps coming and coming and coming. There's never a let-up. It's relentless. Every day it piles up more and more and more, and you got to get it up, and the more you get out, the more it keeps coming in.
Bishop and Friends present emails.
All right, let's start with this one from Connor. Full mailbag again. Great job with the emails, folks. Despite the fact that we don't tell you where to send them, you still somehow figure it out. This one from Connor. Listening to the show and thinking about the TV time slot discussions. This had in regard to our comments from Ross Bjork about we need more night games, too much big noon. Connor writes, if Fox has the first 2 picks, I'd assume they're going to take the game and the Ohio State-Texas game at noon. I know Ohio State is going to push back on the noon game for Texas, but not sure it will really work, as last year that team up north versus Texas was stuck at noon. Does that open up the possibility that Ohio State versus Penn State could be a late afternoon or night game at least? What are the odds that both Texas and Penn State are both noon games? Only way I see that happening is if Fox has the first 3 picks of the season, which maybe they do. Not sure how the TV draft picks work. Please let one of the big home games be a night game. Love the show and go Bucks. I'm always hesitant on this. I think I have a decent idea how it works, but I do not have it absolutely. So this is the way that I understand it to work. You have every game that the Big Ten is playing on a draft board. And you say, I want this. So Fox has, the way I understand it, what I don't know is if Fox has the first 2 picks or the first 3. But I know they have multiple first picks.
I thought it was 3. I thought I had heard that somewhere before, that they got the first 3.
And I'd never seen that anywhere. I've seen that it's 3. Sometimes I see it's 2. So here's why I think it's 2, Bake, and I could be wrong. But this is my circumstantial evidence to where I think it's 2. Last year, they took Ohio State, Michigan, number 1, and they took Texas, Michigan, number 2, which to me would allow for Ohio State, Oregon to go to NBC in prime time, because Ohio State, Oregon would have been one of the top 2 picks. The other thing I don't know about this, and I acknowledge it, I don't know if these Pac-12 teams are even eligible to play home games at noon Eastern. Like, if you're the athletic director at Oregon or USC, Washington or UCLA, and they're like, yeah, we want to play Oregon. I'll pull up Oregon's schedule. They open with the mighty Bobcats at Montana State. Let's say Fox was like, we want to play Oregon, Montana State as at noon. Is Oregon like, yeah, we're not doing 9 a.m. Pacific kicks? It's not happening. Like, is there a pushback on that? I don't know. That part I don't know. Oregon certainly has eyeballs, but Oregon's schedule this year is not one that would demand, oh, baby, we got to see it. I mean, I'm looking at these Big Ten schedules, the marquee teams. USC's at Notre Dame. That'll be an NBC game. They host Michigan. That can't be big noon. They're not going to play it at 9 a.m. So I don't sense that's the case. Ohio State, it's very possible. I'm just looking at this, guys. It's very possible that now Michigan does play Oklahoma. Yeah. Okay. So Michigan's at Oklahoma in week 2. So that one could have some juice to it. But I think you could make an argument that the 3 biggest games in the Big Ten next year are Ohio State, Michigan, Ohio State, Texas, and Ohio State, Penn State.
So, Bo, the Fox does get the first 3. However, last year they traded the 3rd pick because Ohio State, Oregon could not be big noon. Okay. So they traded that to NBC, and then they took, who was it? What's the next one? I just saw it here. I think it was
Was it Penn State, Ohio State?
It might have been. I just lost my spot on that, though. But yeah. Oh, no, it was Wisconsin, Alabama.
Oh, okay.
So they traded that 3rd pick to NBC for something else because Oregon, Ohio State could not be big noon since it was in Eugene. So they do own the first 3 picks.
Okay, and Wisconsin's at Alabama this year, but that'll be an ESPN game this year.
Yeah.
It's at Bama. Okay, so if they have the first 3 picks, then Ohio State, Michigan, Ohio State, Texas, and Ohio State, Penn State versus Michigan, Oklahoma would be the 3rd. So you're just going to have to, I guess what you'll have to do is beg them to play it at night.
Like you said, big noon at night.
Big noon at night. But I don't know if they can get away with that with NBC, because NBC has that window. So that's what makes it all so damn tricky. And it is. It's a hell of a spot, for sure. All right, this one from Robert. He writes, and the subject here is NIL and House settlement. Bo, do you believe that the House settlement can or will limit NIL? I don't know what it would be legal for employees to restrict the ability of their employees to make money outside of the terms of their employment. Restrictions on external income for sole benefits of schools and maintaining competitive balance would likely be contested in court. Parenthetically, he writes that. I would parenthetically say, I think you're right. Professional athletes make the equivalent of NIL through endorsements, and limitations on endorsements may be prevented by previous court decisions. Without an antitrust exemption, a salary cap for Division I school football players would likely be illegal, and if not so found in court, could likely be circumvented by endorsements or other money, the way coaches' contracts are often paid. A cap would also require stringent enforcement, which the NCAA might like, wrestling control from conferences, but individual schools and conferences might not, which could revive the idea of a super league for top schools. If it isn't clear, I'm not a lawyer, but I have no specific legal knowledge. Does this make sense, or am I missing a lot? Robert, you nailed it. Yes. Everything that you wrote is why I don't think this house settlement's going to amount to a hill of beans, guys, because it's going to lose in court. But you can't limit what someone can make off of their name, image, and likeness because you can't police it. You cannot police it. Use Nico. Let's say he goes to UCLA, and let's say they did give him $4 million. Let's say that he was worth it, and that was his value, and they wanted to give him $4 million to play there. All they have to do is put him in something with his image and likeness on it outside of the UCLA football program, and boom, rubber stamped. How are you going to put a lasso around this? How are you going to put restrictions on it? You're not. You're not. So I just think it's all nonsense in the grand scheme of things in terms of changing the sport.
Yeah, the idea that a judge or Congress or some other body is going to fix this issue for you is nonsense. And it's been nonsense for 20 years. And all that you see on July 1 is a different set of lawsuits coming out because there will be athletes who don't like the date of which you selected the drop-off for athletes eligible for this. Or there will be athletes that say, no, this is violation of Title IX because you're not giving the proper amount to this team or this group of athletes. And then you're going around and around in the same circle that you've been doing for 20-plus years. And this isn't going to be Charlie Baker's issue because he's just going to kick it down the road to the next guy.
Yep. Next 6-year-old dude is in charge of it. That's the way it's going to go.
Maybe the next guy can have a better relationship with the current administration, and then they can step in with an executive order. But come on,
you still lose in court. To me, it's all just nonsense. All right, lots more to get to here, including a bunch of thoughts on the Buckeyes White House visit and our thoughts on that. We'll get to that coming up next. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
We have so many local shows, I can't fit them in a 10-second promo. So let's just say we're live and local all damn day. The Fan.
This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, where our erectile dysfunction treatments are shown to be effective in nearly 90% of cases. Listen to what Alex has to say about our ED treatments.
I have been experiencing problems with ED, but that's all changed. My name's Alex, and I've been a patient for Tri-State Men's Health for under a year. I highly recommend this. Every day I wake up feeling good compared to I was back in the old days. It change is more exciting. You know, I don't have a problem with ED anymore. I'm having a lot more fun. I was very comfortable. I was always comfortable in any conversation I had with Tri-State Men's Health. Yeah, I just want to let gentlemen out there know that you do not have to live with ED, that it is not just an aging process. It is also hormonal and balance and everything in your system. And once you get that under control and everything, you do go back to your youth a lot in how you feel.
Thanks, Alex. It's true. If you're like most men, we'll help you get your sex life back. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com.
Spring forward, Columbus, with the Waterworks and Header Heating and Cooling Services. We're here to thaw you out with this limited time offer. Get up to $2,000 off a new complete furnace and AC system. This offer is too good to pass up. The Waterworks and Header Heating and Cooling now together to serve you better with $2,000 off a new complete furnace and AC system. This offer won't last. Call us today, 614-232-2222. That's 614-232-2222.
Legend has it, underneath the NJM insurance offices lies a mysterious room of long-forgotten, moldy mascot memorabilia. Often pitched by ad agencies, always rejected by NJM. Is it real? We may never know. But what is real is NJM's dedication to doing what's right for their customers. Astoundingly, they're proud to put policyholders first. No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. Learn more at njm.com.
Insurance underwritten by NJM Insurance Company and its subsidiaries.
Feeling unsure about preparing your roof for spring storms? Newman Roofing is here for you. For over 30 years, we've helped homeowners understand their roof's condition so they can make the best decision for their home. Stop worrying and call 614-NEW-ROOF or visit NewmanRoofing.com today. Don't just get a new roof, get a Newman roof.
Bobby Carpenter here for Germain Toyota. Swing by Germain Toyota and ask for Marcello and discover unbeatable deals and a wide selection of new and certified pre-owned Toyota vehicles. Visit them at germaintoyota.net. Germain Toyota on the corner of I-70 and Bryce Road.
Hey, it's Leslie from Pella Columbus.
And I'm Wilson from that other window place.
Wilson, people are officially going crazy over our sleek, black-framed windows. They change the entire look of a home.
Leslie, nobody believes that just black frames can change the look of a home.
It's like when Superman put on his black-framed glasses and became Clark Kent.
Wait a second. Clark Kent is Superman? Are you messing with me right now?
Get the window that homeowners rated the leading window brand in Columbus at PellaColumbus.com.
The Fan has been ranked as the second best sports station in America by our industry peers. A heartfelt thank you is in order. But we're not doing it because we're better than that hillbilly Birmingham station that came in first. Thanks for nothing.
Help DEA keep our community safe and healthy by participating in National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day, Saturday, April 26th. Take action right in your own home by cleaning out your medicine cabinet of unneeded medications. Keep them safe, clean them out, take them back. Find a collection site near you at DEATakeback.com. Do your part to lower overdose deaths and prevent prescription drug misuse before it starts. That's DEATakeback.com.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty. Do you want to sell your property, however, you need a little help getting through the process? Let's say you have years of belongings in the home. It needs a lot of updating, you're overwhelmed, and you may need help finding a place to go. I will help you. Visit us today at TurboTrackRealty.com or call me now for an all-cash offer and, more importantly, the help you need at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
A nice afternoon, plenty of sunshine, mid to upper 60s. We'll see a small rain chance this evening into tonight, but most stay dry, low 50s. Windy conditions Friday, more sunshine and very warm. We'll be up in the upper 70s to low 80s by the afternoon. We'll track a return to rain, though, Saturday and Sunday. Saturday looks to be the rainier of the two, with dry weather Sunday afternoon. That's your latest weather impact forecast. I'm meteorologist Michael Behrens on 97.1 The Fan.
1, 2, 3. Here at The Fan is always football o'clock. Proud to be your home of the Buckeyes, Browns, and all the NFL games you can handle. The Fan. Sports conversation that's worthy of a toast, or at least a stiff drink. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Some breaking news in the college football world. College Game Day with this in the last 10 minutes or so. After 38 incredible years, Lee Corso is retiring. For multiple generations, Coach has been the face of our Saturday mornings in the sport we love. Our friend, our coach, our heart, LC, you will forever be a College Game Day legend. He is big. You were telling me in the break he is going to do one more, so he'll do Ohio State, Texas. That'll be the last one. So he started with putting on Brutus's head, and it'll end, my hunch is, with putting on Brutus's head.
Yeah,
I
he
see
can't.
The symmetry in that.
He can't put Bevo on for this one, right? You gotta.
No. He started with Brutus, he'll end with Brutus.
And it was all just like on a whim, right? Like they weren't doing that, and then they came here.
Herb Street told the story before, but it was one of those things where Corso went to him because Kirk's wife was an Ohio State cheerleader and said, "Do you think you can get me Brutus's head?" And they're like, "Yeah, you want a head? I mean, it's like Walter Sobchak and Lebowski. You want a head and get your head by 2:00." So I think they got it, and then he did it, and then it just became part of it. And it's amazing. Like, my kids watch Game Day every Saturday that they don't have their own events and wait for the picks. They can't wait for the picks. And I'm always like, they're not even picking against the spread. What are you guys so into this for? But they're into it because of the payoff. So often because of the payoff at the end. Like, who did Corso pick? They want to know. And I've been in 1,000 press boxes covering college football games, and people are like, well, who did he pick? What headgear did he put on? I mean, it's just part of it. And there's no replacing him. But at the same time, it became, I mean, he's 90, isn't he? He had a stroke a few years ago. He's upwards of 90 years old. Like, it's, going around the country and putting on mascot heads at some point becomes a tough thing to do, and I think we reached that with him. He played at Florida State, so he was around when I was in Tallahassee. He would come through quite often, and always just a tremendous ambassador for the sport, and really a part of a signature part of college football Saturdays for at least the last 30 years.
Corso will turn 90 on August 7th of this year, so he will be 90 by the time that August 30th rolls around. It is, man, it was so, the rapport that those guys had, that him and Herb Street and it was Fowler and has moved on to Reese Davis now over the years, was so good, and there's been different parts that mixed in there, and it's really been sad to see the past couple of years. Kirk has really protected him on the show and helped him out, and it's just sad to see something like that. They were the first that did this. This show was new. It was one of a kind when they started doing it, and it's hard to imagine college football without College Game Day now, and Lee Corso was obviously a main reason for that.
Originally, him and Fowler and Craig James was the original group.
That's right.
And then Craig James left to go to CBS to do the NFL when CBS got the AFC package. And then Herb Street was available, had done some stuff on some sideline stuff. He's working here at the Fan. He did some stuff with Channel 10, did an audition, and the next thing you know, his life changes forever. But yeah, forever linked. I just thought it was always endearing the way Kirk took care of him on the show. I also think I don't know if they knew what they had right away with McAfee. Maybe they did, but you were always wondering, like, who could ever do that again? Who could play that role again? And I don't think McAfee will ever put on a mascot head, but everything he does with his pick is probably as close to what Corso does as you can get. It feels like a natural continuation, building that crescendo, building to it will now be McAfee's pick. In all these years, it's been Corso with headgear. They kind of stumbled into that.
Could you do something with Nick Saban? Not headgear, but the ultimate pick being Alabama Jones.
I don't think Alabama Jones has the sense of humor for it, or the bravado.
But could it be funny if he he doesn't have humor. I don't think he knows that emotion. But if he just did it deadpanned, and that in and of itself could be funny.
I think to you.
Yeah.
I don't think to the gross majority. I think you got to be big on that show, really big, and you have to remember you have a live audience there. You know, and so I think when you go to Saban and pitch him anything other than what he's, remember, like, he took great umbrage with Shane Gillis calling him Indiana Jones, and Shane Gillis making fun of the fact that they bought players at Alabama. Like, he confronted him. You've heard Gillis tell that story. He went right after him. Like, I don't think Saban's doing any of that. I think they'll probably be good with who they have, and it'll be Herbie, McAfee, Saban, Desmond will be the group.
I do think they knew with McAfee. I think they've had this plan in place for a while with McAfee that he would eventually, kind of be the Corso in that role. And again, you talked about a live audience. McAfee is as good as anyone in front of a live audience. It's funny, you talk about who could do what Corso did with the headgear and whatnot. Yeah. And it's very sad because he's no longer with us. But the first thing I thought of was Mike Leach. Mike Leach would be perfect in that Corso role. But unfortunately, he's passed, and that wouldn't be, who knows if it's something he wanted to do. But it just got me thinking, who could do what Corso did? And that's the first name that popped into my head.
Well, I think McAfee wasn't even an ESPN employee when they first started putting him on that. The first one he did was at South Dakota. Mm-hmm. He did the South Dakota State, North Dakota State game. And that was the first one he ever did. He wasn't even an ESPN employee when they put him on there. I think Herb Street's kid was interning for him, and that's how it came about. I'm not even sure, but either way, you will miss Lee Corso greatly. But I do think it's probably time based on just what we've seen through the years. We'll ask Paul about this in a couple of minutes. I did want to get to a couple of things. Got several emails about the Buckeyes making the visit to the White House. Now, I've been doing this long enough that I understand that when you mention anything political or politically adjacent, it's really not worth it for us to do it. And so we steer largely clear of it. But the emails I got were from both sides, honestly, both sides of it. But I did think that, and I'm not going to read all of this, but I did get a couple one from Steve and one from Jim, which I thought this was Steve's issue with this was, as a registered independent, in my opinion, both parties put party over country. And that's one of the kind of constant themes that we think. The other thing, though, that I thought was very strong, and I appreciate his thoughts on this, and again, there's no real benefit for us to get into this. But Jim had a very interesting conversation about this as well, in terms of, after listening to what we said about it, how it's not Ohio State athletes' job to be political if they don't want to. These are kids on a football team, young men on a football team, young support staff on a football team, coaches, everybody, who were offered to go to the White House, and they've been seeing it their whole lives. And so regardless of the political feelings one way or another, to me, that was a pretty pure intention. And that's something that we didn't politicize, and they didn't either. They went to the White House, they met the president, they took some pictures, and it's truly a once-in-a-lifetime event. That group will never be together again. And so I don't, to me, that there's nothing political about that part of it. They didn't play it political. And that's what sports is, right? At its best, I've said this a billion times, you go to a Buckeye football game, you go to a Crew game, you go to a Blue Jackets game, you sit down, the folks to your left or to your right, you have no idea who they voted for, and you don't care. You don't talk about it. That's the beauty of sports. You stay out of all of those things. And so I think the Buckeye football team did a very nice job this week of doing that. And I don't think it's their responsibility one way or another to politicize a trip to the White House. This one from Joe. I agree with you about getting an all-time greats jersey. I want to get an Otto Graham jersey. Should I get a 14 or a 60? Get a 14. It's funny. Bootsy's first ever Browns jersey was a 14 Otto Graham. And there was an old-timer when we were walking out of the shop to get it, and he had it on, and he said, "I love that." And I said, yeah, it's pretty cool. Those are all pretty timeless. You do that with Buckeyes, too. Lots of good ones out there. This one's right up your alley, Reese. This one from Travis. Let me thank you for the great show, and we appreciate that. He's coming down from Michigan for the 4 Mile on Saturday and Sunday and wondering if High Bake only sells their bourbon at their distilleries or if they're in stores that I can get it. No, they're in stores, but the distilleries and the locations have a much bigger variety of it. I'm not someone who drinks it straight or on the rocks, but if you could recommend a good flavor of bourbon to start with, I'd appreciate it. And I know you say it depends on the taste of each person, but if you could point me in a direction, that would be helpful. Also, I hope to meet T-Bone and Eric to be able to physically see people that I listen to basically every day. So there you go. He goes all the way back to the iPod Nano days when he was listening to it. He says, I'm a man, I'm 50. Go Bucks from that state up north, Reese.
Just real quick, in my email, I got an on sale tomorrow alert from High Bank. Yeah. Their second batch of bourbon will be available at stores.
And I know Shannon's been looking for that too. So that's kind of the loyal listener. That's an opportunity there. Troy also alerting us that he had the best grilled pimento cheese sandwich at the Woodland Golf Club in Cable, Ohio. You got any point of reference on that, Bake?
Cable, Ohio?
Yeah.
Grilled pimento,
Woodland Golf Club.
So like
Cable,
toast?
Ohio. Super nice golf course as well.
Toasted bread, the only way.
Yeah.
So Cable, Ohio, it looks like is just a little northeast of Urbana, kind of almost midway between Urbana and Marysville.
Damn.
Interesting. So you said Travis was the one that came in town for the 4 Miler?
Yeah. And
Reese, did you get to meet Travis? Did he come up and introduce himself to you?
And Brother Bone?
Well, I did not. This was about 45 minutes before the actual event. I was running in it, so I was kind of running around trying to get myself warm. But Bone stayed at our location the entire time, so I'm hoping he got to meet Bone.
Yeah.
I do not remember.
All right. There you go. Paul Finebaum in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Before you start your day, UDF has already started baking your breakfast. We're making biscuits and croissants in our bakery served with sausage, egg, and cheese before you hit your first alarm. Fresh baked breakfast sandwiches from United Dairy Farmers. UDF. Mornings made for you.
It's Lindsay's one and only trade-a-thon.
We'll trade for anything. Plus, give you $1,000 more for your trade. Choose a 2025 Honda Ridgeline RTL or an all-wheel drive HRV LX or a CRV LX and pay just $2 $299 a month. 3 models with one very low Lindsay price.
Trade up to the reliability of a new or certified Honda.
So lock in your price today. The one and only Lindsay Honda Trade-a-thon is back. See lindsayhonda.com for details.
Care Heating and Cooling. When you need a company you can trust, call 1-800-COOLING.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Hereeth my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times?
You're playing the lute. Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Bishop and Friends present college football's most polarizing figure.
Hey, Paul, how you doing? Come on back to our show, Tim. The audience hates you.
This is ESPN's Paul Finebaum, sponsored by the Roofing Guys. For all your roofing, siding, and gutter needs, contact the Roofing Guys at theroofingguys.com.
All right, buddy. Last week at this time when we talked, we said, "Oh, okay, this is new. This is a college football player using the media to let it be known that he wants some more money, much like we see in free agency and professional sports." And then all of a sudden, I'm guessing you got a call or a text Sunday morning. They said, "Hey, Paul, we're going to need you on SportsCenter because Tennessee says, yeah, we're good." Take me through your view of everything that went down last weekend with Nico.
Well, Bo, at about this time, the story started leaking out. I think most people believe very strongly that Tennessee would cave in. I mean, we're conditioned to think that. By Friday, it had turned more serious, and really by Friday afternoon, and you can't always use your audience as a base, but I bet I heard from 20 people from the Knoxville area, and none of them wanted him back. And by Saturday morning, it was a fait accompli. He wasn't coming back, and the university wisely jumped out in front of it. It made it look like they had dumped Nico, when in reality it was the other. But Tennessee won the battle, and maybe the war. And Nico today apparently is heading to UCLA. And good luck trying to find an offensive line and wide receivers to put around him.
Did his camp just overplay their hand here, Paul?
Yes, they attempted to do this in December when it really would have been beneficial. The problem was it was about a week after the Ohio State game, and I don't think anybody was all that enthusiastic about Nico, getting more money at that point in time. So I think they tabled it. They tried again, thinking that this portal would get their attention. But you know, and everybody listening knows that this is not a portal for five-star athletes, and I think they blew it. I don't really know what the numbers are going to be at UCLA, and probably whatever you hear won't be accurate. My guess is he has really hurt himself badly.
Yeah, and the thing, I said this on our show on Monday, was he was kind of the perfect athlete for this to be made example of, if you will, from the standpoint of everybody knew in the recruiting process that he was, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but from my vantage point and just talking to folks around here, in the recruiting process, he was a where's the biggest bag guy. That was kind of part of it. Tennessee needed it. They needed momentum with Heupel in recruiting, and five-star quarterbacks give you a lot of momentum. So there was that part of it. And then, honestly, he just wasn't quite good enough to where Tennessee had to take it, right? I mean, they'd already compensated him, and I heard you saying a 6 or 8 quarterback in the SEC. That seems to check out to me. That feels about right. If he's a top 3 quarterback in the SEC, they pay him, and nobody even worries about it. So the combination of all of it, Paul, was kind of the perfect storm for Tennessee to stand up and say no.
Correct, and not only that, when he initially went to Tennessee, they promoted it. I mean, they meaning their outlet, which is the way it works, of course. Maybe Raiola from Florida got similar type of attention, and it's just amazing to me when you look at the top quarterbacks of that class. I believe of the top 10, only Arch Manning remains where he started.
Jeez. Yeah, well, that's the name I use as the example. Like, if it's Arch Manning, then they give the money and nobody even hears about it. It's done and it's cooked. Okay, so it's one thing to stand up and say, yeah, we're not having it. Now, what is Tennessee's plan here? Because were they preparing for this, as you understand it, through spring, or did him skipping Friday's practice, was that something that they didn't see coming?
I don't think they were preparing for it, and they're in trouble. They have the next guy on the roster, I think, has thrown 6 passes. After that, it's a raw freshman. They really are in big trouble. I'm sure they'll bring somebody in the portal. They're talking to a couple of players, but in the end, it won't matter. I thought it was interesting what Urban Meyer said yesterday. Try convincing Tennessee fans that they did the right thing in the middle of October. Right now, everyone is all in, and I think Josh Heupel will get a pass through this season. But if this season is a disaster, and let's say their over and under was their win loss over and under was 8.5. I mean, right now it might dip below that, and fans are not forgiving. You get a short pass, but you don't get a long one. And ultimately, I think they made the right decision because he just simply wasn't worth it. In many ways, college football benefited by Tennessee telling him to hit the road because I think every other player in America would have been trying to get more money. Right now, there is a bit of a chilling effect.
Paul, do you think that this will be, will this be a seminal moment in the sport where more team? Because I know you and I have talked about this a lot. I've always thought that the only course correction on this was going to come from collectives, and it was going to come from donors saying, hey, man, we're not doing this again. Like, where was my return on investment on this kid? And Nico's kind of a great example of that. Do you think that there will be more now that Tennessee has taken advantage of this spot the way that they did?
Yes, I think it is a significant moment. As I said a minute ago, had they given in, I think it would have opened the floodgates. But right now, I think it has emboldened people to say we're not going there anymore. What I really hear, and I know a lot of people don't want to hear this, but I hear a significant tuning out. We've talked about this before, Bo. Mm-hmm. It's generational. 55 plus. I think folks are getting sick of it. I think a lot of folks are getting sick of it now because there is. We now accept that all of these players are mercenaries. Meanwhile, student athlete still gets thrown around by the commissioners and the presidents.
Right.
It's hard not to break out laughing. The word kid gets thrown around more than it should, but that's just part of the lexicon of the sport. But and for all those people that call you or me and say, hey, I'm sick of it, I'm not watching it again, I don't believe one of them, by the way. I'll be tuned in when Texas shows up at the Horseshoe, and so will everybody listening. But I do think there is an erosion, though. When it reaches a point of concern, I can't tell you, but it's growing.
It is, and the thing that I'm hearing, I'm sure you're hearing it down there too, is that right now everyone's trying to get as big a bag as they can because they're worried about this House settlement, of which I think that's going to be a paper tiger at best. And you and I have talked about that, but it feels like right now everyone is looking for every spare penny that they can have, and they're really pressing. And I think if you're at a place like this, like at Ohio State, and Ohio State was in this with Cam Ward last year. I'm sure you know this story, but Cam Ward was I need the biggest bag guy, and Ohio State's like, we're not getting in a bidding war, but they also didn't have to because of where the program was and where they're. So I think about like DJ Underwood at Michigan. He wanted to go to LSU. But he's a Michigan kid, and all of a sudden, Larry Ellison's partner says, hey, I really want Michigan football to be good again. I think that'd be great. And all of a sudden, they put a big bag in front of him, and he takes it. But there's nothing to protect that this same thing that just happened at Tennessee isn't going to happen there. So that's where I'm curious where all of this goes from here. Will there be a curbing kind of this behavior that happens in the next 6 months to a year? Or by the time we get to December and everybody wants that 5-star quarterback, are we right back where we were?
Yeah, I think we are. And again, the legality of all this is hard to disseminate because I really don't know if you can put an out clause specifically on this. And then, I mean, you can, but can you really get away with it? And are you going to litigate it? Do you want to be that one school that sues the player or the agent or whomever, and then get caught up in that war? I love somebody this week. I think it was Ryan Clark. I don't know who it was. Blamed us on the NCAA. I mean, we are so far beyond that that I just broke out laughing. But everybody has to blame someone. Ultimately, I blame the father. This father, like so many other fathers, and you've dealt with them, just think that their son is the all-knowing, and they just don't understand the reality. It's a really cruel game, and I'm frankly happy it happened. I think we needed a moment like this to slow down some of this just mass explosion of paying for. And again, that when fans listen to people like we've had on this week and say Tennessee now has more money to go out and spend, it has to have an effect, because if you're 70 years old, you're going, what did I just hear? I remember when I was just starting out as a fan and me as a writer, I mean, schools literally went on probation for a Big Mac.
Yeah. Well, they went on probation for tattoos here, buddy. I'll get you out of here on this. I'll get you out of here on this. Lee Corso, College Game Day, announcing his retirement. When is the first time you remember him putting that mascot head on? He's been such a face of the sport for almost 4 decades now. What was your first time realizing an older gentleman, a former coach, putting on a mascot head would be an electric factory the way that it has for almost 4 decades?
I tell you, I remember when it first happened, but I can tell you my first experience at it. When I went to ESPN in 2013, the SEC network had not started, so they literally put me on game day for a year. That's not how it normally works, but they had nothing else to do with me. And my first game day was at Clemson, and I had done a couple of hits. It was nerve-wracking, but I can promise you, I moved back to the set as Corso was about to do the headgear. And wanted to see it live. I mean, from like right. And when a guy walked by me holding a bulldog puppy, I knew then Georgia was the pick. But I have to tell you, even at that point in my career, and I just turned 60, I was like enthralled by this. I mean, it was like one of the most exciting things I'd ever done. And I had been on the show. I mean, it wasn't like I was just a 15-year-old fan for the first time. In all honesty, Bo, we both know that he stayed too long, but it doesn't matter. He will be honored and heralded, and he's deserving of it all.
Great talking to you, buddy, as always. Thanks for your time.
You bet. Thank you.
All right, there he goes. Paul Finebomb, the Paul Finebomb Show on ESPN and the SEC Network on the Brian Heating Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. We hit Thing or Not a Thing up next. Bishop and Friends, right here on the Fan.
All the 10 TV people come over to our side of the building to take a deuce. That should tell you something about how we operate. The Fan.
Steel, walk behind, zero turn, and stand-on mowers are built to get the job done. Shop online or at your local Steel dealer. Steel, let's go mow.
It's Kubota Orange Days. From America's #1 selling compact tractor to zero-turn mowers and versatile RTVs, get your perfect match delivered to your door. Now through June 30th, get 0 down, 0% APR for 84 months or up to $2,000 off BX 2380 tractors. See the details at KubotaOrangeDays.com.
Stop by CEC Turf and Tractor in Athens, Canal, Winchester, Lancaster, or Toledo to see their full line of Kubota tractors and mowers, or check them out online at CECTurfandTractor.com.
Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here to let you know that Clayton Home's Go Big and Go Home sales event is going on now. Go big this year with a new, affordable, energy-efficient, modern manufactured home. Clayton Homes is changing the way homes are built, making them affordable to buy and cost less to live in. Every Clayton-built home uses quality products from the world's most trusted brands and comes equipped with energy-smart features for year-round comfort and a lifetime of savings. The craftsmen at Clayton build their homes in state-of-the-art facilities to protect your new home from the elements during construction. Clayton Homes and Freedom Homes are ready to help you find your dream home. They're here to help answer all of your questions, from floor plans to design features. Check out their fully furnished new home models and see all the options available to create the perfect home for you. For a limited time, you can save even more on select homes during Clayton Homes Go Big and Go Home sales event. Don't wait. This event ends April 30th. Visit the local Clayton Homes near you or browse their limited time deals at GoBigAndGoHomeSale.com.
You can stream the game on your phone while you're gardening. You can stream it while you walk the dog. You can stream it at a trampoline park. You can even stream it at a monster truck rally. But the second you get behind the wheel, the game's over. Remember, Ohio, phones down. It's the law.
If you're like most Americans, you've racked up tens of thousands in credit card debt. You're stuck with 20% interest fees, and even the monthly payments, well, they're hard to make. It's insane. Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. The good news is that there is a way out. AFLcash.com. That's AFLcash.com. Advantage First Lending. They specialize in fast, easy access to the equity in your home. Most homeowners have hundreds of thousands of dollars in their home equity. That's your money. AFLcash.com can get it out for you with zero junk fees and zero hassle. You can pay off all those credit cards in just a matter of days. Pay off your car loans too. Cut your monthly expenses by $800 or even $900. I'm telling you, the relief you need, well, it's right there at your fingertips. AFLcash.com or call 844-394-CASH. That's 844-394-CASH. Break out of the credit card debt prison with AFLcash.com.
Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 1209177. Subject to lender approval. NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
What's the best way to make sure you don't miss any of your favorite fan shows? Oh no. Download the Fan app, silly.
Ah, damn it, I knew that.
App Store, Google Play, or just scream right at your phone. Psst, you can also listen to Buckeye games. Do it now.
We've all been there. You come home after a long day, only to find water dripping from the ceiling. Your roof has decided it's had enough. And now, frustration sets in. Another unexpected problem added to your never-ending to-do list. At Newman Roofing, we get it. That's why we make the process simple and stress-free, handling every detail with professionalism, so you don't have to worry and can get back to the things that matter most to you. So, how do you begin? Step 1. Schedule your free estimate by calling our office at 614-NEW-ROOF or visiting our website, newmanroofing.com. Step 2. Meet with one of our trusted representatives who will guide you through the best plan for your home. Step 3, we get to work, and you watch your roof transform before your very eyes. Whether it's your roof, gutters, or siding, the Newman Roofing team is here to guide and support you every step of the way. Call today at 614-NEW-ROOF to schedule your free estimate and experience the Newman Roofing difference. Don't just get a new roof, get a Newman roof.
The Fan Poll is brought to you by Caster Connection. Visit CasterConnection.com to shop online or to work with our Caster Solution specialists.
Drink recommendations, movie reviews, sports discussion, or whatever the hell Reeser does. This is Bishop and Friends.
I type a little thing or not a thing on a Thursday. Hit it, fellas.
Thing or not a thing.
Sponsored by Apex Plumbing Pros.
Speaking with reporters on Tuesday, former Cal Poly offensive tackle Brady Norton spoke on his commitment to Michigan. The 6'3", 275-pound Norton was offered by Ohio State on December 16th, one day after he received an offer from Michigan. He says it was how Ohio State went about their recruitment that drove him to Ann Arbor.
They called me in the hotel room of my visit here and to offer me. But in my mind, they texted me before Michigan did, really, and then just kind of ghosted me out of the blue. And all of a sudden, when Michigan offered me, they wanted me now, so I kind of found that a little odd. Then I just came here, and I was like, yeah, I told them, those guys, I don't care.
Thing or not a thing?
Good for him. We'll see at the end of next year. Look, this all adds to it, right? As if there isn't more on this. Like, it's interesting, like you'd say, oh, that's bulletin board material. Can there be a bigger bulletin board than Ohio State, Michigan? Like, how do you add more to it? Like, everyone knows what's going to go into that game next year. There's no way to make it bigger than that. It's already just all-encompassing. So he gets to have some flowers on this a little bit and tell a funny story and get a lot of Michigan people excited. Fine. We'll see what happens on the field. And obviously Ohio State has a lot to prove in that endeavor. So, yeah, I think just it kind of adds to it as if you could. I just don't know that you can. Like, there's already just as much hate as possible.
I mean, this is a thing, right? Because this is what makes this rivalry the best in sports. They recruit the same players. They try to get them there. They want to one-up the other one all the time. And listen, they've won 4 straight. They can be chesty right now, right? Sure, Ohio State won the national championship, but they did it without beating them. So they have that feather in their cap right now. Ohio State has the national championship feather, thankfully for us. But they can be chesty, and guess what? They are doing it. The team, the university, the fan base, all of them, and it's their right now.
Yep.
Sacramento Kings center Jonas Valanciunas played in his 6th straight play-in tournament last night. The 32-year-old Valanciunas has appeared in every play-in leading back to its inception in 2020. He played in with the Memphis Grizzlies, New Orleans Pelicans, Washington Wizards, and now the Sacramento Kings. He's got the most points and rebounds in play-in tournament history. Thing or not a thing?
This is a classic, Reese. This is a classic. You're like the Elias Sports Bureau for the statistical anomalies. Look, it's a crazy coincidence. I can't say it's a thing, but it's a crazy coincidence that he just happens to have played on all of them. Is pretty wild that's the case. But no, I don't think this is anything that I'm going to pay a whole lot of attention to. But it's a pretty interesting, funny little stat.
It is a cool little stat. It's not a thing, but what is a thing? Jonas Valanciunas has had a pretty daggone good NBA career, and he's somebody that nobody's ever really talked about. There's been a lot of seasons where he's been right there as a double-double guy. I know he was a guy back probably 3 or 4 years ago when the FanDuels and DraftKings and all of that came back out in the daily fantasy, all of that stuff. He was a sneaky good guy to get in those because you could always get him cheap and he would always give you 30 or 40 points combined in your daily fantasy. So not a thing that he's done this, just one of those, I think we talked about it earlier this week or last week, the cool stat nerd thing. But he's had a really quietly good NBA career.
It was either 2015 or 2016. I said Valanciunas a lot because he was, a primary piece for those Toronto Raptors teams that gave the new LeBron Cavs some fits in their Eastern Conference playoff runs. Yeah. Syracuse wide receiver Trebor Pena entered the transfer portal when it opened yesterday. Orange head coach Fran Brown had some thoughts on it during his appearance on Orange Nation.
With all due respect to everybody in the country, to every wide receiver, to everybody that's doing all this stuff, if you're going to make $2 million at wide receiver, that's to blow a homie over at Ohio State. Ain't nobody else making that money. Giving no wide receiver no $2 million, man, in college. Nah, that ain't me. I ain't doing that. I can't do it. Unless they tell me that we get a chance to have Travis Hunter, he could come back to college and he could come here and play for us, then he going to get some of my check. But I ain't paying nobody $2,000 this year. Not to me. $2 million, whatever. I just say, yeah, we ain't giving nobody that.
Thing or not a thing?
I think what you're seeing is, and I think this fits in with the Iamaleava stuff. I think they're all kind of linked. You're seeing a lot of pushback of good, finally, and I think your coach is saying we've had enough, and I do think that you will see, I talked about this with Nico, is it collusion? It's a strong word to say collusion, but I do think there were a lot of coaches around the country who, when they saw what Tennessee did, said, good, see that. That's what happens. There isn't an endless supply of money. We gave you what you demanded. You think you're worth more. Good luck. Go find it. And I think you're going to see some teams start to stand up to that.
I think it's awesome that Fran Brown said this, right? He just said, I don't think every coach would come out and say this. And, Bo, I think we kind of predicted this a while ago that eventually there would be a market correction on all of this and teams would realize you can't be giving all this money to everyone. Listen, if there's a Jeremiah Smith, a Caleb Downs, an Arch Manning, guys like that, they are still going to get paid, and they are going to get paid handsomely. I don't know if everybody else is going to, though.
Yeah, I think you're going to see some. I think you're seeing it. You're seeing pushback. Okay, go see what you can get. Good luck.
Just real quick, negotiations between the Commanders and the D.C. Mayor's office remain fluid and ongoing about a return to the nation's capital with a stadium project costing more than $3 billion. Team owner Josh Harris previously stated a desire for a new stadium to open by 2030. Commanders declined comment on the story, but the mayor's office put out a statement saying, in the coming days, we will share more on our growth agenda by highlighting our next budget to grow D.C. and outlining a plan to realize abundant opportunities at RFK as we forge ahead with shaping D.C.'s future economy. Thing or not a thing?
Now, this is huge. So this is a $3 billion stadium reportedly. It's $2.5 being paid by ownership, and it's $5 that's going to come, $500 million that's going to come. I don't know if it's from the city. It would have to be. Obviously, there's no state involved there, so it would have to be the city. D.C. would have to be on the hook for the other $500 million of it. Go ask Jim Lachey what it was like to play at RFK and to play inside the Beltway and not have to be out in the suburbs, and what that allowed for that franchise when they were the Washington Redskins. So this is a massive deal for that franchise. It would not have happened with previous ownership. It would only happen with this current ownership. And I think, if you're Timmy Hall and you grew up a Redskins fan and a Commanders fan now, like you have Jane Daniels, who have really competent ownership, you're going to be playing in D.C. inside the Beltway again. It sounds like they're going to do something with the uniforms. It seems like they're keeping Commanders, but I think they're probably going to find some way to get that old look back. Or at least some part of it. So everything trending in the right direction for what was a model franchise in the NFL.
I think it's a thing, and I think it's a thing that maybe like the Bears and the Browns should pay attention to.
Yeah, you'll see. We'll see. I mean, that's basically the Browns' plan. Is the majority of the funding private and then a little bit state. That's
I'm talking about staying in the city, though.
Oh. We can get into that a little bit coming up at the top of the hour. But I think anytime you have a location where you can only lose 2 entrances, that's a tough location. Is that one? We'll do a little higher, lower. Shelley time as well. Final hour of the program on a Thursday up next. Bishop and Friends right here on the Fan.
Buckeye games have been airing on WBNS since before you were born and before your parents were born and before Abraham Lincoln was born. Trust me, your home of the Buckeyes, the Fan.
Everyone deserves a fast and reliable connection. One that helps better their everyday through the things they value most. Friends and family, education and career. A connection that opens pathways to opportunity and builds roads to a better future. At Spectrum, we're committed to delivering just that every single day. Because with the right connection, anything is possible. That's Life Unlimited. That's Spectrum.
Hear that? That's the sound of saving a good deal more when you shop with M-Perks at Meijer. Some delicious blueberries, money saved. A creamy treat of cookie dough ice cream, that's money saved. Savings, savings, savings. Because every dollar spent is also 10 points earned in M-Perks, which you can use to save on your next grocery trip or up to $1 off per gallon on your next tank of gas. At Meijer, we work hard to help you save a good deal more for a whole lot less. That's bringing more good to life. Exclusions apply. See mperks.com for details.
That's are us. When dreams sunk in, that's are us.
Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel, plus low to no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsareus.com. 380-225-BATH.
That's are us. When dreams sunk in, that's are us.
Attention kingdom-seeking business professionals, entrepreneurs, and investors in Columbus. Are you ready to experience a life-changing event that will elevate your faith, finances, and future in 2025? Then you won't want to miss this. Join us for Life Search, featuring Champions of Faith, Saturday, May 10th at the Schottenstein Center for an extraordinary one-day event that will empower you to transform every area of your life through the power of faith. Prepare to be inspired by an incredible lineup of champions, including college football champions Jeremiah Smith and Caleb Downs, 3-time national champion head coach Urban Meyer, sportscaster Kirk Herbstreit, 2-time national football champion Tim Tebow, and more. These champions have experienced firsthand how faith transforms lives, and they'll be joining Life Search to share their powerful stories and insights on how to integrate faith into your business, finances, and every aspect of your journey. Seats are selling fast to this unforgettable event, so don't wait. Head to LifeSearch.com now to secure your tickets before they're gone. Life Search featuring Champions of Faith, Saturday, May 10th at the Schottenstein Center. Don't miss out. Your transformation begins here. Visit LifeSearch.com today.
Colin
John Mann here for the ESPN Bet Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Watching big events are more fun at Hollywood Casino. For example, there's this draft thing coming up. Large men get selected to move to different cities and play football. That's all I'm legally allowed to say. Not only do you get the excitement of on-site wagering and camaraderie, there's prizes to win at the Sportsbook. And sign up for Penn Play Rewards and play up to $500 on the house. Do it now. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Here'th my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times? You're playing the lute.
Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
The sports calendar is heating up, and with ESPN Bet Sportsbook, you can go from checking news and stats to placing bets in just a couple of taps. Stream games, bet live, and get exclusive offers when you link your ESPN account. Right now, you can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet app and sign up with promo code JOEQ to get started today. That's JOEQ, Joe Q. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Vivid Seats is your ultimate destination for basketball and hockey this season. With a game-changing rewards program and an unbeatable selection of tickets, they make it easy for every fan to watch their favorite teams and players in action. Catch every one-timer and buzzer-beating 3 live and in person from your favorite seat. Plus, every ticket is backed by a 100% buyer guarantee, giving you peace of mind with every purchase. Don't miss out. Visit VividSeats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reese, sir. We've got day baseball in the capital city. The Clippers look for their third straight win, hosting the Louisville Bats at 12:05. At 12:40 in Ohio's Queen City, the Reds welcome the Mariners in the rubber match of their 3-game series. Seattle took Game 2 last night, 5-3. In the NHL, the Blue Jackets host the Islanders tonight at 7. We'll have that one on the Fan with coverage at 6:30. Jackets are eliminated from playoff contention, but a win tonight can get them to 40 victories for the first time since 2019. In college football, the transfer portal is open through next Friday, and Lee Corso will retire from College Game Day after a final appearance this coming August 30th. No word on where that show will be, but Ohio State hosts Texas on that Saturday. This update sponsored by VMI Federal Credit Union. Enjoy rates lower than the national average, plus a special rate on balance transfers with a Visa Platinum or Visa with Rewards credit card. Breaking sports news when it happens on the Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
The friends are the guests and listeners. Reeser and Baker just work here.
Back to work. Back to work. Everybody. Work, 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 work.
You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
News of the day in college football. Lee Corso stepping down from College Game Day. He will do one last game day appearance. It's not official, but it'll be here. It'll be Ohio State, Texas, is where he will do it. The first time he put on the headgear was here. The first time he put College Game Day on the road was Notre Dame and Florida State in 93. And the first time he put on the headgear was here in 95 for an Ohio State game. And so it'll kind of a fitting end to it all. Have you guys ever been close enough to see it live when he puts the headgear on in person?
I have seen it once here. I can't remember. I mean, it had to be Brutus, right? Because it would have been here in town. So, but I've seen it one time.
Never gotten close enough. No,
never. I've seen it a lot. It's amazing that like a former coach, like a retired coach, putting on a mascot head hits the way that it does. But it's crazy when you have that live audience there. And until they got McAfee, there was really nothing else. Like, his responsibility in terms of interacting with the crowd and getting them to buy into that show fell entirely to Corso. Entirely. It really wasn't until McAfee joined that they had someone else who would play to the crowd. Nobody else ever did it. They just did their television show, and Corso would play to the crowd. And you'd hear him do that stuff where he'd talk so positively about the team that he wasn't going to pick and wind them up. But nobody else did that until McAfee. And so, like, if they don't stumble into McAfee, I don't really know what happens here, because that's still, when you compare them to Big Noon, and we heard this week that, or last week rather, I want to say it was it Awful Announcing, I think, that had the story about how Fox had pursued Reese Davis to host Big Noon Kickoff. I don't know that would have done it, and Reese is really, really good, but I don't think it's a Rob Stone issue. I just think it's like, we're so indoctrined by game day and the environment, and I still think it's the best studio show on the planet for that. Even better, Inside the NBA it's about the relationship that those guys have all together, and Chuck and Shaq and Ernie and Kenny and all of that, and that's incredible. That's great. But in terms of a tone setter, there's nothing in the sports entertainment world that's quite like Game Day. And they've tried to do it at Fox. It's a similar show, obviously. They just haven't been able to thread the needle the way and have the impact that they've had. There's been many times when we've had them both here, where you have Big Noon and you have Game Day here, and it's Game Day that typically kind of wins out from a crowd perspective. All right, time for a little higher lower. Hit it, fellas.
Bishop and Friends present Higher or Lower.
Sponsored by the Waterworks. Call the Waterworks and Header Heating and Cooling today at 614-232-2222 or visit online at thewaterworks.com.
Today's higher or lower comes to us from Fansided.
Oh, baby.
And it is a post-Nico Iamaleava SEC football power rankings.
Oh, baby. So is this real? This thing that you sent me, is this real? This is their ranking?
Well, this is Winston's ranking. Winston, who writes for Fansided.
I said the same thing when I saw it.
Is this real?
Power ranked all 16 SEC teams.
I thought this was like when I look at this, to me, this felt like, okay, is this like gatorbait.com or something? Like, what are we doing?
It's on the main page. Because I think Fansided, they do have team sites, kind of like Sports Illustrated and Bleacher Report.
Sure.
I think Winston was looking for clicks, and we're about to help him with that.
I think we gave him it. By the way, if this were the true SEC power rankings, I would have Ohio State, Penn State, Oregon, all ahead of the number one team on this SEC Power Poll. Certainly Ohio State and Penn State well ahead. This is pretty wild. Go ahead, Reese.
The number one spot in Fansided's SEC Power Rankings belongs to the Florida Gators.
Oh, God.
At number 2,
what are we doing?
The Aggies of Texas A&M.
What are we doing?
At 3, the Texas Longhorns. Higher or lower for Texas at 3?
Obviously higher. They're going to be the number 2 team in the country to start the year. What type of this feels like when I got the wrong gummies in California. Is what this honestly feels like. I don't know how else to explain this.
So his explanation as to Texas will be a drop-off in their offense due to losing Isaiah Bond and Matthew Golden.
Okay.
They also lose the Thorpe Award-winning corner.
Give me the Florida case. I mean, that's the headline here. He's got Florida, who went 4-4 in the league last year, whose signature win was at Ole Miss when Jackson Dart threw the most inexplicable interception ever that led to that victory. They went 4-4 in the league. What's the Texas A&M claim?
Well, he doesn't. Here's what he says. The SEC, as always, is going to be loaded. I'd expect Florida to be one of the strongest teams in the conference again with Texas A&M on their coattails. Alabama should be about as good as they were last year, though I'm not sure what Ty Simpson will do to fill in for Jalen Milroe. On these power rankings, he's got Georgia at 4 and the Tennessee Volunteers at 5. Higher or lower for the Nico-less Volunteers?
Florida, way back. Texas A&M, way back. Tennessee, way back. They're gonna feel the brunt of it. I mean, whatever you think of him and whatever example you want it to be made, he was pretty competent last year for them. Was he great? No. But I think what's really crazy, like, he's got LSU 8. Like, Nussmeier's back, and I don't love him as a pro, but, like, he's starting a lot of games at LSU, and they went 9-4 and were 5-3 in the league. So I don't understand at all how he's got them so low. He's got Alabama, 7 on this, Reese?
Yep.
He is obviously drinking the DJ Lagway Kool-Aid here for Florida, but there's no way that Florida and Texas A&M and Tennessee, to me, athlete for athlete, match up with Texas, Georgia, Alabama, and LSU. I just can't see that.
All right, let's go further down this list. At 8, LSU, like you said. At 9, Oklahoma. At 10, Ole Miss. 11, Arkansas. At 12, Auburn. Higher or lower for the Tigers there?
Who's the quarterback at Auburn? Did Jackson Arnold go there?
Yeah, I believe that's correct. Jackson Arnold.
The kid who was at Oklahoma. I'll tell you the team that I think could have a nice bounce back is Oklahoma. They got the transfer from Washington State. That kid can spin it. They've been really active in the portal. They get their running back from Cal. It feels like it's a big put up or shut up financially for them in terms of with Venables. I think Oklahoma will bounce back. They were 2-6 in the league last year. I think they'll be much improved. Ole Miss, I don't think is going to drop all the way to 10-3 to 10th in the league either. Like you don't go from being 10-3 in the overall and 5-3 in the league to 10th. I don't see that happening as well. Obviously they got a quarterback figured out how to get it, but like. They've done a good job in the portal. They got a lot of talent. I think they'll be higher than that, too.
Bo, I'm with you on Oklahoma. I think they're a candidate that could possibly be a team that they're not going to bounce back all the way, but they could bounce back some. You mentioned the running back Ott from Cal that they got in the portal yesterday. They seem to be portaling pretty well this year, and we know that Lane Kiffin portals well. He's been portaling well since the portal came around, so both of those teams have to be higher.
I mean, just pulled up Ole Miss's depth chart on our lads. They've got 5 new starters on defense, transfer portal, and 4 new starters, including a brand new receiver room, all in the portal.
Again, this is FanSided's SEC Power Rankings post the Nico Iamaleava decision. At 13, again, there are 16 teams in the SEC. At 13, he's got the Vanderbilt Commodores. They get Diego Pavia back at quarterback. At 14, the Missouri Tigers. 15, the Kentucky Wildcats. And at 16, the Mississippi State Bulldogs. Higher, or I guess can't go any lower than 16.
Go lower.
Higher or lower for Mississippi State?
It sucks. I feel for my man Clay Hall. When Leach left, he had such a niche that he had carved out. It was coming off of Mullen, who really had a lot of success. You know what I think about when I'm looking at this? Like, if Arch isn't great at Texas, and we all just anticipate that he will be, but if he's not, this is a big time. Like he writes in here that the SEC is going to be a great year in the SEC. No, he writes the SEC is going to be loaded. I disagree. I don't think that it's going to be loaded. I think that it's going to be a down year in that league unless Texas handles its business. That's why I think there's so much pressure on Sark. Like if not now, when?
Yeah, I can see that. And Bo, because you mentioned that too, I think South Carolina might be a sneaky pick to win the SEC this year because they're bringing back an experienced quarterback in Lenoris Sellers who can do it with both his arm and his legs. And, man, is Dylan Stewart a freak on that defensive line.
Has South Carolina – all right, South Carolina has won – have they ever won the SEC football? They've won 3 regular season SEC titles. All – okay, so 2000, 2002, and 2011. They shared it. Those are their 3 sharing of the national titles at that point. All right, good job out of you on that. I like where the Big Ten stands heading into next season. Coming up next, Will Howard on the mistake you could make by not drafting him. Also, Peter Schrager with a fun story on Jack Sawyer. And Andrew Barry with some comments on what the Browns could do at number 2. All of that coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Big voice guy here to remind you that you're listening to The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Okay, thanks. I have 3 more seconds. Bye-bye.
Men, is good enough really what you want with your sex life? This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health. And if erectile dysfunction is making a bad bedroom experience for you and your partner, you should call us because you want your intimacy to be fantastic, both for you and the one you love. At Tri-State Men's Health, our treatments have success rates of well over 90%. And because we're a medical practice focused on men's sexual health, we can offer many treatment options and even combine treatments to find the right one for you. Which means if you're like most of our patients, we can likely get you performing like you haven't in years. So make an appointment and make a change from good enough to really good. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654. That's 800-900-9654. Or go to tristatemenshealth.com. We have 6 offices in the tri-state area to serve you. Tri-State Men's Health, a Promenic restorative health practice.
Discover uncompromising quality at a reliable price with Giant Eagle in Market District. Look for signs throughout the store highlighting lower prices. Surround yourself with savings at Giant Eagle. Experience value like never before. Visit Giant Eagle today to see how easy it is to save.
Congratulations, you're having a little girl.
At that moment, everything changed. Our hopes and dreams for ourselves were instantly replaced by our hopes and dreams for her. We got life insurance policies from Shelter Insurance, so that regardless of what life throws at us, we'll still be able to provide the world to her.
Visit shelterinsurance.com to find an agent to help you pick a policy that's right for you. Shelter Life Insurance Company, Columbia, Missouri.
Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here from my friends at High Bank Distillery Co., located right here in Columbus. Introducing their newest product, 614 Vodka, Ohio's house vodka. Perfect to make a drink at home or try when you're out at your favorite local restaurant. Learn more at 614vodka.com.
At Diamonds Direct, our experts go the extra mile to ensure you have the tools to say I do with absolute confidence. Our promise to you is a completely risk-free shopping experience rooted in transparency, education, and integrity. No pressure, no intimidation, just clarity and confidence in your purchase. But we're about more than just price. Everything is backed by our exclusive guarantees. Put our tools to the test against any competitor, and our expert staff will ensure you get the very best overall value and unforgettable experience. Learn more at diamondsdirect.com. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
Everybody poops, everybody pees. Mommy, will you call Mr. Rooter, please? 'Cause I gotta poop and I gotta pee. Only Mr. Rooter can clear the drain for me. Thank you, Mr. Rooter.
Hi, everybody. We call it what it is at Mr. Rooter. When you have a plumbing or drain problem, the team at Mr. Rooter is ready 7 days a week. Call us today and take advantage of our $95 drain cleaning special. Visit us at MrRooter.com. We'll be there quick.
Fish has been named the 3rd best sports program director in the country. Winner. The 2 dudes who finished ahead of him are dead. So we're declaring him the winner. You're listening to the home of champions, the Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Help DEA keep our community safe and healthy by participating in National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day, Saturday, April 26th. Take action right in your own home by cleaning out your medicine cabinet of unneeded medications. Keep them safe, clean them out, take them back. Find a collection site near you at DEATakeback.com. Do your part to lower overdose deaths and prevent prescription drug misuse before it starts. That's DEATakeback.com.
We plant trees because people need trees, and when planted in the right place, they have great impact. Trees help slow climate change, filter our air and water, foster biodiversity, and strengthen our communities. They create the kind of transformational change the world needs now. April is a month filled with opportunities to care for and plant trees. For planting resources, contact an Ohio ISA certified arborist who can help you learn how to take the best care of your trees. Visit trees4ohio.org. That's trees4ohio.org.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Hey there, Central Ohio. I'm 10 Weather Impact meteorologist Michael Behrens of your latest forecast. We're looking at more nice weather this afternoon. Plenty of sunshine and getting up into the mid to upper 60s. A small chance for a few showers passes through this evening and tonight. Most stay dry. Temperatures down into the low 50s. Up near 80 for a high Friday with plenty of sunshine before storm chances return this weekend. That's your latest 10 Weather Impact forecast. I'm meteorologist Michael Behrens on 97.1 The Fan.
During this 10-second promo, Rothman will lose money gambling on something.
People like you come here and blow the family nest egg that built this town.
Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays from noon to 3.
The Fan. The final season of Yellowstone might just be Bo's dad live on YouTube. What's the difference anyway? This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, I was wrong. South Carolina has not won an SEC championship in football. They've tied for the division. They've played for one SEC title. That was in 2010. Other than that, they tied for divisions. In fact, their only conference championship in football is in 1969 when they were a member of the Atlantic Coast Conference. So that's what they're tracking down. They were always one of those ones, and I don't know anything about it in terms of if they have – I don't know if they have corporate money. I don't know if they have big money boosters. I'm sure they have boosters, but I don't know if they have big money boosters that can fit the bill for all of this. But the population shift south and the amount of high school football talent in the state of South Carolina is something that they can certainly take advantage of. They just have to battle Clemson for it and everybody else. But there's a lot to be attracted to in Columbia for sure. All right. The draft is a week from today. Our guy Will Howard was on the NFL Network's Hey Rookie and made his draft pitch to NFL teams.
Man, I feel like my whole career I've been overlooked. I didn't have an offer from Pitt. I didn't have an offer from Syracuse. I didn't have an offer from Boston College, Penn State, Duke, Carolina. None of those schools offered me. I was trying for years. And I went to Kansas State and I said, I want to prove those people wrong. I hope Penn State looks back and say, damn, we missed out on Will Howard. You know, when I get to the NFL, I don't want you guys to miss out on me because every single team that picks a quarterback in front of me, I'm going to make it my mission to make sure that they regret not picking me.
Love the passion, the enthusiasm. Good job.
Yep. Thank you, guys. Good job. Draft me.
Yes.
There you go.
Draft me or you'll regret it.
I wonder how that plays. I mean, he was doing this was a mocked up thing. Like this wasn't an actual NFL front office, but they were basically trying to, hey, this is what it's going to be like, make the pitch. I wonder how much, you know, it's interesting. I think it's in the eye of the beholder and really the ear of the beholder because there are certain front offices. Like, I'll tell you this, if he took that tone and said the exact thing that he just said to a John Dorsey-led front office, they'd love it. They'd love it. I mean, I'm convinced that a big reason that they drafted Baker Mayfield was because at his pro day, he did a whistle and all the receivers came running. And Dorsey's told this story many times when he was the general manager of the Browns, that Baker was such a Pied Piper that everybody just followed him, that his leadership was just infectious. And you've seen that with Baker during his time in the NFL, especially when he's part of positive experiences. His positive leadership can be overwhelming. One thing that you would not have known at the time of drafting him is that when it goes negative, it can really overrun a program or an operation, and that's something that happened there. But I think it depends on who is on the receiving end of that message from Will Howard. I think there are certain front offices that are immune or attempt to be immune to the emotional side of the game, and they're looking at numbers and they're looking at throwing charts, accuracy, arm talent. They're not worried about the rest of it. And I think some of that's a little bit naive. I don't think there's that many NFL teams that really thread the needle correctly on football guy and also what the data tells. That's the challenge. That's what you got to try to find are those guys. And I think it's really going to be interesting where Will lands. It is. It's because he's got a lot of the things that you like. And it's just going to be about the specific situation he finds himself in. But he's going to be beloved here only forever.
Yeah, I can see the more data-driven, robotic front offices, kind of like the Cleveland Browns, if he had said that in their meeting, like, oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Like just faking the laugh and then walking. And to that point, like that's not going to dissuade them or persuade them one way or the other because they're not listening to what you're saying. They're just like, okay, we have enough college tape. We have great. We love your passion. We've got you where we've got you. I mean, then that's not going to change their mind. And like you said, like if John Dorsey hears that at 28, he's scribbling the card already. Mm-hmm. It's a wild variance in the NFL with guys like that and how that kind of messaging goes 1 week out from the draft.
I think that bravado works in the fact that at the end there, when he says draft me or you'll regret it, I think that was kind of in jest, right, with those guys, and they're laughing and having fun. But that chip on your shoulder and being doubted, we know that's something that fueled Michael Jordan forever, getting cut by his high school team. That fueled him. Tom Brady being drafted 199th overall. Mm-hmm. That was always a part of him. And I do think that people, especially, man, it seems like his disdain for Penn State is real.
No, that's
and the fact that really hurt him. that was his his homeschool state university, and they didn't want him. That seems to be something that has really fueled and motivated him. And I do think Will's a guy like, say the Cleveland Browns. We talk about them all the time. They pass on Will Howard. They need a quarterback, and they choose to go another way. Will is always going to think of that, and it's always going to be something that fuels and motivates him. Now, whether he's good enough to make it in the NFL, I don't know, but that's going to be a driving factor for him.
Yeah, I also think that it's interesting you mentioned Jordan and Tom. I think those type of stories, guys, are going to be less and less going forward. I think we identify talent quicker, better than ever before. I don't think the Michael Jordan story ever happens again. And by the way, by the time he got to North Carolina, he wasn't some Cinderella story. He was the starting guard on a team that won the national championship, and they drew up the game-winning national championship shot for him. The ball swung to him, and he knocked it down, and he was a National Player of the Year. So the story on Jordan was always that he got cut from his varsity team, but I think he got cut as a freshman was the idea of it. But I don't think that would ever happen again. I think someone with his talent would have been identified at probably 8 or 9, now seeing it with my boys, identified at 8 or 9 years old and been in a different lane. I mean, you think about Cooper Flagg. We've known about Cooper Flagg since he was 15, 14. How long did you know about Dylan Raiola? 16? Quinn Ewers, 15, 16? Like, you identify talent earlier and more accurately than ever. Just look at last year's NFL playoffs. Look at the participants in it, and look where the quarterbacks were drafted. There isn't a steady diet of mid-round guys. You know, typically Brock Purdy, when the 49ers are in it, they're the outlier. But most of these guys are first-round picks. Most of them are. Like, we can identify it now. It's the notion that, like, oh, you can find Brady in the 6th round. It's 1 in a million. I mean, it's Brock Purdy. It's so hard to find for that to happen, to slip through the cracks, to be misidentified. So, and so much of that is on circumstance and all of that. But I just think we're smarter now than we've ever been in terms of identifying players young and then getting them in paths where they train and just accentuate their talent. Peter Schrager, formerly of the NFL Network and Fox, now at ESPN, was on McAfee and also told a fun story on Jack Sawyer from the Combine.
Quick Jack Sawyer story about the Combine, and I didn't go to any of the college football games. I watched him play, obviously, and I'm on the field with Sean Payton, who said he had never been on the field during Combine drills, but I was interviewing him for the NFL Network's coverage of the Combine. Mid-defensive drills, mid-drills, Jack Sawyer comes over with the firmest handshake you've ever seen. Mr. Payton, Jack Sawyer, linebacker, Ohio State, good to meet you. I said, okay, I want to draft this guy. What a move. What a move. I'm like, this kid's unbelievable.
Yeah, that's one thing about it's so much of the credit goes to, I mean, this even predates Urban. I mean, that Tress did this, Urban did it, Ryan does it, Pantone plays a big role in it. Guys, Jerry Emig plays a big role in it with communications at Ohio State. You come to school here and play at Ohio State. Not only is it NFLU in terms of us preparing you physically to play in the National Football League, but it's also preparing you mentally, and it's preparing you for what comes with the NFL. I mean, Jack Sawyer walks and talks like an NFL veteran. All these guys do. Emeka does. Trey. Quinshon was only here for a year. But like you listen to these guys talk, you watch how they handle a room, you watch how they walk into a room with confidence, you watch how they handle it. I mean, just think about the availabilities we had in the last month. I mean, you had Devin Sanchez, he should be a high school senior. He was sitting at a podium in front of 100 media members. Where else are you getting that? There's value in that, man. Big value in that. They're not fearful of it anymore.
I think the Ravens are going to take Jack with like the 59th pick.
Did you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby?
It just feels like he's a Raven or a Steeler.
Yeah, it feels like a Raven or Steeler. Didn't you say Bengal yesterday, Bake? You were saying Bengal?
I might have said that. I don't know.
Get him at 49?
I don't know. This is no surprise, though, right? We knew that these Buckeyes, when they got in front of people, we knew these Buckeyes would win the room. By the way, Peter Schrager what was that, 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago? He's on NFL Network one day, and then the next morning he comes out with Greeny on Get Up. That was like 90s wrestling stuff right there.
Yeah, it was like goodbye to Good Morning Football on a Friday and hello to Get Up on a Monday. That's the way that worked. A little bit of Shelley time, obviously a very different tone to it than what we were hopeful of, but nevertheless, an appreciation for this season, what he expects to see tonight for the Jackets as they close it out against the Isle. That's in 2 minutes, Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
And the top overall pick in this year's draft is the ESPN Bet Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus. That's right, it's number one in my heart. This is Scotty Vegas, and we're hosting a special draft show and watch party starting at 7 p.m. Thursday, April 24th for the first round of the draft. Watch and place wagers on the picks with over 30 kiosks, contests, prizes, and a live show at 7 at the ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Must be 21 or older to enter. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Care Heating and Cooling. Honest technicians, honest pricing. Call 1-800-COOLING.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Hereeth my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times?
You're playing the lute. Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Come into your local AAA Car Care Plus location this month and buy 3 select tires, you'll get the 4th tire free, plus a free alignment. And on the plus side, AAA members save more. Restrictions apply. See store for details.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
The Gloves. Shelly time.
Sponsored by Visit Central Florida. Discover the real Florida magic at visitcentralflorida.com.
Well, buddy, we were hopeful. Montreal scores first last. I mean, we're all watching it, right? And you were hopeful that you would get a nervy Montreal, and it ended up that they kind of clutched up and got it done. What was the experience for you like watching last night, and obviously hoping against all hope that you would at least get it to matter on your sticks and have it in your own control tonight?
Well, I didn't have the nerve to watch the first period, so I listened to it on radio with my son. We were on the golf course, getting a quick 9 in last night. So that was a good way. We enjoyed that. And then when I settled in, it was 1-1, and I liked the way Carolina was playing. And, you could see some posts, and I thought it was going to happen. I really did. But unfortunately, that Montreal, they broke through, and it was I watched it to the end. Mm-hmm. And, it's too bad because I felt like the momentum here to end the season, how special this season was. I think there was some divine intervention here in a lot of ways, and I thought it was going to break through. But you know what? Now you reflect on what could have been, I guess. I go there first, right? I go to, the moments of the 5-game losing streak, some situations they've been in. But when you step back and you come to the rink today, you feel the disappointment of the players, but I tell you what, you got to be nothing but proud of this group that no one had them picked to do anything. It was a feel-good story all the way through, but you have to credit what they've done and how they've grown and what's going to happen next year with what they've just learned. This is game 82, and it's the first game without being able to fight for the playoffs all season. And that is something with the injuries, the tragedies to start the season, the new coach, the new GM, they just came together. So, it's disappointing, but I tell you what, we're going to look back and get excited really quick for the start of next season.
Yeah, I said this earlier, for all of the reasons you just mentioned, there's only been 5 times in franchise history that the Blue Jackets have accumulated more points than the 89 they're going to accumulate, because they're going to win tonight, and I think it'll be dynamic in the win. It just feels like it's appropriate for it to end that way. So to me, 2 points are coming. You're going to end with 89. There's only been 5 seasons where they've accumulated more, Jode. They were picked to have 68. That was the over.
Oh my goodness, what a bet!
68.
No respect. That's who knew what was going to happen?
Yeah.
It's great to see overachievers. And you think of every player on this team and how they played, how the new guys fit in, the brand of hockey they play every night. I mean, the fans see it. You feel it in the building. It's the brand that I think identifies with this community. And good things here, man. This is an organization that made a lot of noise this season. And you're right. That's pretty impressive. 25, was it 68 you said? So 20 points.
68.
Yeah, 21 more points. That's impressive. And still, the disappointment is still lingering, though, right now.
Have you been in one of these spots where you were in it to the – have you? Yeah. What's this like coming to the rink for those guys today when your hopes are vanquished on the next to last day?
Well, we went right from we lost, and I was with the Rangers, and we had a home-and-home with the Flyers. Game 81, we had to win in New York to beat the Flyers, and if we did Game 82 – whoever won that game was going to the playoffs, and we lost in a shootout in Game 82 to the Philadelphia Flyers. So we didn't have this next day.
Yeah,
we went right to the bar from the train and just kind of decompressed, and then went in and did our meetings and kind of broke camp. But I've been in a situation before. It's like the end of a playoff series. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
When it's going 1,000 miles an hour, then all of a sudden it's over. And I think we'll feel like that tomorrow. But today it's like guys are excited to be on the ice. Guys are excited to be around each other. Guys are excited to go out here in front of the fans and give it their all tonight. I think it's a little better way to end than just stopping at Game 82 or at the end of a playoff series where it just stops. There's no more skates. There's no more prep. There's no more getting together. At least they got to do that together here today.
Yeah, and I think you're right. I think you're going to get a great crowd tonight. I think you're going to get a full appreciation for everything that this team accomplished. I think you're going to get a hell of a performance out of the Union Blue. I think they'll skate hair on fire. I do. I just think nobody wants this to end, man. And I think that's how they'll play tonight. Is that the read you get?
It's exactly how it feels here.
Yeah.
This is a regular game day. The prep was the same. The meetings were at the same time. The players are ready. It's exactly what it is. They're excited to get out in front of their fans and play tonight and beat the Islanders. This is a part of what they do. 82 games a season. There's going to be 4, I guess, guys that have played every single game, which is quite an accomplishment. Stayed healthy all year. So there's a lot of good stories in this locker room. Yeah.
Yeah. Here's the list of the 4 guys who have. It's Provorov, Olivier, Corrali, Fantelli, who, by the way, since last we talked, buddy, went to 30 goals on the season and 5 in his last 3 games. Boy, this is you said something earlier when we were talking, where you said, like, when you go about surprising and the off season and now all of a sudden expectations, that's when it gets fun. Is when you have expectations, right? And this was all kind of house money and a magical year and all of that, but nobody thought this team, except for maybe people in the room, was going to be in the mix until the last day. Well, next year that changes, and a big reason I think that the league obviously Werenski's been unbelievable throughout, and there's a million storylines here, but this is a guy picked number 3rd overall, and we've talked about this, buddy. We've spent a month basically in the Stanley Cup playoffs, and when you had to have wins and back was absolutely against the wall, there were times he's the best guy on the whole ice. He's been unbelievable.
He's taken forward steps. He's stepped back. He's taken bigger steps forward. It's for a guy like Fantelli to play all 82 games, most hockey he's ever played in his life in one season. Last year was 49 due to injury. This is his 2nd year. The way that he evolved and the way that he has become the player that he is today, and I've said this before, I don't know where the ceiling is on him. Mm-hmm. But it sure is exciting because a player like that who loves the big moment, like this guy rises up when everything's on the line. Give me the puck. And the greats want to be that way. And, yeah, I mean, this is young in his career, 30 goals in his second year. You don't see that.
Mm-mm.
You know, you don't see that a lot. So he knows where he fits in on this team, too. I think, you know, as he hits the off season here, he's going to have a season to be able to train fully. He couldn't do that last year. And, you know, every one of these guys, Kent Johnson's another guy to me that has jumped off the page. Marchenko. You go through the whole list of the top six. Yeah, man, it's been impressive just to watch it because, you know, when you're in it, you kind of think, oh, he's hitting the wall. You know, what does this mean? But when you look at the whole picture now, it's kind of like I want to say the stock market over the last 50 years. You know how they say how it goes down.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
that, but you know what I mean. And the trajectory is still like consistent. So it's very encouraging.
It's just a fun team, man. I mean, like Monahan only played 53 games. He was such a critical part. Like when he came back, and you think about everything he dealt with. Van Riemsdyk. Jody, you end up with 16 goals right now. I mean, he was a guy that was a stabilizing factor through all of this. I mean, there's so many good stories here, and you've had a front row seat for all of it. And we'll talk about the offseason plan when we get into the offseason. That's for another day. This is about a celebration of this team. What has this ride been like for you this season, ice side, as you so often are, watching this team?
You know what? It's been hard to believe. I've found myself amazed, but also their expectations grew. You know, within the season, the expectations grew because right away they found the brand of hockey they had to play to win games, and it was a team game. And you look at the goals they put up this season, you know, 5-on-5, top in the league for 5-on-5 goals. No one saw that coming. It's been at times just amazing to watch and see how tight they were. You know, and you look in the players' eyes in game number one, and I know there's a great article in The Athletic about Sean Monahan, but I watched that night. We all did, and I watched front row, and I don't know how that man put his equipment on.
Yeah,
I remember the opening puck drop of the season. Remember how they dropped the puck and blew the whistle? That was, and from then on, it's been incredible to watch Monahan. I just talked to him in the locker room. He's got a smile on his face. He loves being in the locker room. He's loved everything about this season, and you just admire the way that everything has gone on, you know. And it's too bad it's over. It's going to be over after tonight. I really thought that this was going to be extended, but it's a proud group and a group that I don't know if they could be any tighter.
Yeah, it's you mentioned those opening moments. I mean, you had the return to Calgary. I mean, there's so many things that were. It was this incredible job, and I think Don Waddell, first year in, Dean Eveson's hand on it, Jode, was just. It felt like every button that needed to be touched, he did, and this was such a balancing act. I'm just appreciative of all of it, and I think we'll get a great one tonight. I guess I'll get you out of here on this one. What you hope to see tonight from the fans, from everybody.
Well, you know, the players are going to play their hearts out tonight, and they're going to play with pride. They don't want this to end. And when you put the gear on and you get out and the warm-up music and you get in front of your fans and the puck's on the ice, they're gonna end this season the way they started it. And for the fans, we know what they're going to bring. They're proud of this team. This is our team. Mm-hmm. And you know, the fans will be there to support them and you know, cheer them on for what they brought here this season. And this is a great community. We talk about it all the time, but we know why. There's a lot of pride. The players are proud to be in Columbus wearing the Blue Jackets jersey, and it's because they understand what they're a part of. It's because the fans are interactive and proud, and the players know that they are their team and their guys, and it's because the fans make them feel that way. So I expect it to be a loving, fun atmosphere here tonight.
Who won the golf match?
My son did. He's a 4 handicap. I'm a 14, probably an 18. So, yeah. Gosh. I mean, it's not even close.
Did he give you strokes?
I got work to do. No strokes, straight up. He just left with a smile and a nod.
Just, gosh, it sucks.
You know, I'll get him. I'll get him next week.
All right, buddy. Great talking to you as always. Have a great call tonight. I know you will.
All right, buddy. Call anytime. Thanks for everything all year. I appreciate it.
No, it's always fun. We've been doing Shelley time for a lot of years here. I got to think it goes back to maybe the first year. It's probably like 7 or 8 years that we've been doing Shelley time, and always look forward to it. And hopefully a fun one tonight as they put a ribbon on what has been a magical season and one that had every twist and turn you could want. 3 things on a Thursday coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Wake up with the Fan. Eat lunch with the Fan. Go to bed with the Fan. Dream about the Fan. Then change your sheets. Gross.
Ew, you guys are gross, but stick around in case I don't find anyone else.
The Fan.
From office supplies to IT essentials, Amazon Business provides tools that help you save costs and make insight-based decisions. Learn how to bring your visions to life at AmazonBusiness.com.
This spring, celebrate the sparkle that she brings to your life with something that sparkles right back. Whether it's for Mother's Day, an anniversary, or just because, Diamond Cellar has the perfect gift for the women who mean the world to you. Visit Diamond Cellar today on Selma Road and at Easton Town Center.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Attention kingdom-seeking business professionals, entrepreneurs, and investors in Columbus. Are you ready to experience a life-changing event that will elevate your faith, finances, and future in 2025? Then you won't want to miss this. Join us for Life Search, featuring Champions of Faith, Saturday, May 10th at the Schottenstein Center for an extraordinary one-day event that will empower you to transform every area of your life through the power of faith. Prepare to be inspired by an incredible lineup of champions, including college football champions Jeremiah Smith and Caleb Downs, 3-time national champion head coach Urban Meyer, sportscaster Kirk Herbstreit, 2-time national football champion Tim Tebow, and more. These champions have experienced firsthand how faith transforms lives, and they'll be joining Life Search to share their powerful stories and insights on how to integrate faith into your business, finances, and every aspect of your journey. Seats are selling fast to this unforgettable event, so don't wait. Head to lifesearch.com now to secure your tickets before they're gone. Life Search featuring Champions of Faith, Saturday, May 10th at the Schottenstein Center. Don't miss out. Your transformation begins here. Visit lifesearch.com today.
I can't sleep.
What is it now?
It's the company. It's chaos.
What's chaos now?
The numbers, the expenses, the books. What if we get audited?
No one's gonna audit you at 3 a.m. Go to sleep.
I can't sleep.
You could if you used Ramp.
Who said that?
I don't care because they're right. Go to sleep and sign up for Ramp in the morning, Jerry.
Ramp is the corporate card that handles all your tedious financial operations automatically, integrates directly with your ERP, and gives you complete control over every transaction. Ramp gives you everything you need for bulletproof books and a better night's sleep.
Wow, that is exactly what my company needs.
Yes, and exactly what I also need. Go to sleep, Jerry.
Upgrade to Ramp for free today and get $250 at ramp.com/radio. Ramp.com/radio. That's ramp.com/radio.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank, members of FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Huntington is banking that just clicks. Like asterisk-free checking with no monthly maintenance fee, no matter what. It's your money, right? So keep more of it. Make the switch today at huntington.com/yourmoney.
Common Man and T-Bone.
One thing that could have made it worse is if he had the full-on Boston accent, like,
Hey, these guys got to go harder. They got to park the bus in front of that goal line. Faster!
Common Man and T-Bone.
Sponsored by the Hinderer Motor Company.
Weekdays 3 to 6 on The Fan.
Welcome to Tire Discounters. Oh, hiya, Phantom.
Mike, I think I saw a fox on my way in.
Oh, that was the Carfax Carfox. He was congratulating us on our Carfax Top-Rated Service Center Award.
I have always rated Tire Discounters at the very top.
Oh, thanks. So does Carfax. And not just for tires, but for all our services, too.
Alignment, brakes, shocks, and struts, and more.
Yes, sir.
But, Mike, do you think people believe Carfax over me?
Well, you are the Phantom tire buyer.
Exactly.
Everyone deserves a fast and reliable connection. One that helps better their everyday through the things they value most. Friends and family, education and career. A connection that opens pathways to opportunity and builds roads to a better future. At Spectrum, we're committed to delivering just that every single day. Because with the right connection, anything is possible. That's Life Unlimited. That's Spectrum.
All your your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Distilled sports discussion served in light beer quantities. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
CJ on social sent me this as I was talking to Jody. The Blue Jackets did something special this year. They flipped the narrative from the NHL on hockey in Columbus. They flipped the outlook from spittin' chicklets and big market fans. In my 28 years of watching and playing hockey, this season put CBJ on the map. Yeah, I think that's part of it. I definitely think that's part of it. I think the way that the outdoor game went off. I mean, there's some digging in on this we can do tomorrow. But I think that he makes a very, very good point. What do you have on the poll today, Reese?
Daily Fan Pool sponsored by Caster Connection, and it asks, with the Jackets on the outside looking in, how much of the Stanley Cup playoffs will you watch? None, a little, a lot, just the finals are your four options. 37% say they're going to watch a little, 15% say they're going to watch a lot, 44% say they're not going to watch a single solitary second of it, 3% say just the finals.
What you just did there, what is it, 40-some% said none?
Yep.
That's an NHL, Major League Baseball, MLS, NBA thing. Where, and I've said this before, college football, what used to be the most regional sport, has become a national sport. Those professional sports that I just mentioned, save for the NFL, are hyper-regional. You care about your team only. You do not care. The gross majority of fans do not care about it if your team's not involved. There's always going to be the diehards. And when you're in your information silo, you think everybody thinks like you, but they don't. The majority of the folks don't. And I think that probably is reflected in your poll numbers there. All right, time for three things on a Thursday.
1, 2, 3 things.
Sponsored by Buckeye Lake Marina, Central Ohio's largest selection of new and pre-owned boats. Find your next dream boat at BuckeyeLakeMarina.com.
All right, number one for me, we were looking for a new program to watch. The wife and I, White Lotus is over, 1923 is over. So, look, John Hamm, Apple TV, wealthy guy loses it all and then starts robbing from his neighbors. Yeah, I'm interested in that. That feels like a win. So we watched the debut episode of this show called Our Friends and Neighbors last night that's on Apple TV with Hamm. He's really good in it. I just think it's wildly impossible that this circumstance would have happened, and it's to the point where I don't even understand it. So just to give you a little window into it, his wife has an affair on him with one of his best friends who's a professional basketball player. They get a divorce. She keeps the house, and he's still paying for it. Like, what in the hell are we talking? It was one thing after another like that. So I hope it picks up because I like some of the components of it, but the first episode did not take.
You said Apple TV for that?
Yeah.
So they had to unalive his character in Landman so he could go do that?
I guess.
He's everywhere.
It's a good... I mean, the premise I like. But the first episode was very iffy.
First thing for me, and this kind of goes to the poll question, sponsored by Caster Connection. I know I'm petty. I hope the Capitals sweep the Canadiens in the first round. I was tired of what I saw last night in Montreal. Dancing. I know they're celebrating, but it felt more dancing on the Jackets' grave than anything.
It's funny that Jody said he was golfing last night and couldn't bring himself to watch the first period last night. I kind of felt the same way. I wasn't sure if I could watch it or not as we got closer to it. So we went to dinner and got back and asked if we wanted to put anything on TV, and this is a no. So I was like, well, I don't know if you want to watch this, but we're going to watch hockey. So I put it on, and I was immediately angry because the last time I had checked, it was 1-1. The Canadians had just scored to make it 2-1. They end up getting 3-1, and there's like 15 minutes left, and I'm sitting there like, all right, come on, Canes, we got to do this, we got to do that. I'm watching it with a sense of urgency as a Jackets fan, but Carolina didn't care about that at all, so they weren't playing. And they did play kind of urgently. They pulled their goaltender and all of that, and they played well. They had chances, but it was just weird watching another team with my rooting interest having the urgency that I needed for my team and realizing they did not have the same.
Yeah, I was flipping. So I couldn't watch all of it because I'm like, I can't invest in this. And I kept waiting for Carolina to draw even, and they never, after the first period, they obviously never could. Number two for me, it's the damnedest thing. I guess it's one of those things about getting old that sucks. I used to be the type that, like, if I was outside and I had my base layers on and my head covered and my hands covered, I could stay warm. I don't know what it is about this spring, but I find we were out at watching the high school lacrosse game after NBC's game, and it took me longer to warm up than I can ever remember, so much so that I had to go get in the hot tub, which is always a win. It's fun getting in there. But that was the only thing to get me warm. And it wasn't even that cold last night. It was cold, but it wasn't that cold. And I just feel like I'm ending up this is what happens. You get old. You don't heat up as fast. It sucks.
A hot tub first Friday drink, though?
Oh, baby. Of course. I made that cherry bomb thing. Did you make that thing or the cherry bounce, whatever the hell it is?
I did
delicious.
not make it.
Oh, spectacular.
This Ohio winter's done irreparable harm to all of us.
Well,
and we're still dealing with it. I had the ice scraper out this morning. Let's think of spring and summer things. Join the Fan Saturday, June 21st in Westerville. It's the inaugural 971 The Race. Register at 971therace.com and join Common Man and T-Bone, Tyvis Powell, and many more June 21st for a day of activities, food, live music, and fun. It includes a 1-mile walk run, a 5K fun run, and if you're a total psychopath, you can do 9.71 kilometers, which is a little over 6 miles. We like to think of this as more fun, less run. So join us on June 21st, 971therace.com. We look forward to seeing all of you out there for that.
You want some good hockey talk later today, 4:15. Head over to Channel 10. Dom Taberry is going to be talking with Blue Jackets GM Don Waddell. Should be a fun conversation.
Yeah, that's the winter conversation got me thinking about this. Number 3 for me. Do you know what the kids are watching? They're addicted to it. They watch it in the morning, and it's on all the time on these channels. Any of these House Hunters, like House Hunters Bahamas, House Hunters Hawaii, it's constantly on. And they just want what we all want, which is transported away from the cold. I don't blame them.
Final thing for me, Vegas Insider did a study of all Major League Baseball team subreddits and found that the Cleveland Guardians are the second most foul-mouthed MLB fan base.
That tracks.
With over 6% of their comments including a swear word. The Oakland Athletics were the most foul-mouthed, 6.5% of their comments including a swear word. The Cincinnati Reds found to be the most polite, only 2% of those comments on their subreddit, including a swear word.
Us fine talking Reds fans over here. Hey, Rothman and Ice are coming up next. Andrew Berry had his pre-draft media availability. They'll get into some of that coming up next.
All right, you have that to look forward to, which is nice. We're back tomorrow. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Here's a quick 10-second reminder that the Buckeyes have won the Natty. Also, we are all the games, and we always will. Thank you. Your home of the Buckeyes, The Fan.
At Meijer, we work hard to bring more locally grown goodness to life with a farm-fresh selection of crisp vegetables and juicy, ready-to-eat fruit. Whether topping off kebabs on the grill or adding healthy color to a leafy green salad, your family will definitely enjoy the delicious taste of Meijer produce. Plus, you'll appreciate the selection and savings we have to offer. That's the fresh-picked good life, priced for real life. We work hard to make life a good deal better at Meijer.
Now's the time to get a great deal on Kubota construction equipment featuring durable Kubota engines, more comfort, more productivity, more get it done right. The Kubota construction lineup shows up ready to work every day. Right now, bring home select Kubota equipment for 0 down, 0% APR for 60 months, or save up to $4,500. Now through June 30th. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
Stop by Columbus Equipment in Columbus, Dayton, or Toledo to see their full line of Kubota construction equipment, or check them out online at ColumbusEquipment.com.
It's been a great run. Care Heating and Cooling has achieved goals I could only imagine 30 years ago. But now it's time for the next generation to take over. This is Mike Weens, now the retired founder of Care Heating and Cooling with my sons, Dennis and Ryan.
Dad, as Care grew over the years, you had many opportunities to sell Care to one of the big conglomerates that are buying companies all over Central Ohio. So tell our customers why you decided to keep Care in the family.
After talking about Care's values for over 30 years, I couldn't bear the thought of Care becoming the kind of company I was warning our customers about. I know the two of you will continue to treat our customers as I would, with honesty and integrity.
We will, Dad. In 2024, Care was awarded a BBB Torch Award for Ethics and was named the Lennox Partner of the Year. You don't earn those awards by leaving cat toys behind.
Call Care Heating and Cooling at 1-800-COOLING or schedule an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com. When you need a company you can trust.
Hey, it's Anthony. Of course, I sit and do the show 3 hours a day. But after that, I'm looking to get things done and enjoy the spring weather. So I want to be on my feet a lot, playing golf, working out, just moving around. I was introduced to the Good Feet store because my feet were aching way too often. And what I found there is a 3-step custom arch support system that has me feeling awesome. My personally fit arch supports have helped realign my feet, reposition my body into a more ideal position, and not only that, strengthen my feet to help support me. It's made all the difference in how I feel every day. The Good Feet store is going to help you where you need relief and find the arch supports that work best for you. And when you wear them as a system, their arch supports are more effective at long-term pain reduction and elimination. So go in, take the free test walk. Good Feet arch supports are immediately available. Their products are proudly made in the USA. They're on Polaris Parkway and on Stringtown Road in Grove City, or at goodfeet.com.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Here'th my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times? You're playing the lute.
Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Here'th my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times? You're playing the lute.
Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Quarterback Jordan Love isn't just on Green Bay's team. He's also on the American Family Insurance team. Because like us, he believes in dreaming fearlessly.
Just chase your dreams and don't let nobody hold you back.
And we help protect those dreams with the right coverage so you can
dream fearlessly.
American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfan.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.